You better buckle up. This is all I could say for today's show here. You better buckle up. By the way, the next 4 hours, powered by our great friends at BetUS. Wow. What an amazing weekend in sports. College football over the weekend. NFL, obviously, on Sunday. And that shitty football game I saw on Sunday at Lincoln Financial between two bad football teams. That's what it was. Eagles and Browns were two bad teams. You can say whatever you want. Well, the Eagles have more time. It was two bad football teams. It was just two bad football teams going back and forth. Two bad teams. One team with higher expectations than the other team, the Browns, had no right being on that football field. That was a bad game. You come away from that game, and guess what we do here? That looks like 2023. It's going to catch you again. It's going to catch you again. By the way, all super chats go to the top. We stop whatever we're doing and we put those up. Please hit the like button. But what more to say? I mean, first two drives. Hurts is 0 for 5. No points and a ton of 3-and-outs. Starting fast? I thought the objective was to start fast. What were you working on in the bye week? Oh, I know. Nick Sirianni screaming at Eagle fans. By the way, do you know your coach is now a national punchline? And he's one of the absolute most embarrassing things in sports to talk about now? Gabe, how about them Cowboys? Wow. My favorite to win the Super Bowl destroyed him. Do you know your coach is now a national disgrace? And then he takes his kids up there because he was afraid of the big bad wolf known as the Philly media? That's what you do? I thought I was watching a scene from Equalizer when Denzel, at least he was trying to defend himself, grabbed the guy's kid and got in the car. Holy shit. This guy's a coward. This guy's everything that's wrong with being a head football coach. My God. I mean, he is so unbecoming. That's the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. I can't believe it. I can't believe that guy's your coach. I mean, it's embarrassing. Screaming at his own fans. He said he got jacked. Dude, he was upset because they started a chant of Fire Nick. You don't have. Here's the one thing that I've learned about these Eagle fans. They know when you're lying. And they're not going to defend it. They're not going to defend. Hey, by the way, I saw the John McMullen thing about him being, I don't fucking care about Nick Sirianni being a villain. Hey, that's good stuff for whatever. At the end of the day, that's my coach. You're an embarrassment. Hey, he doesn't care anymore. Hey, dude, half the building was behind you on Sunday. 25% more of the building is now against you. 75%, in my opinion, of the Eagle fan base hates this guy. Hates this guy. Dude, they went in spite of this idiot. He is an idiot. What are you trying to accomplish? By the way, I'm not going to start my program out and make this thing here a 4-hour soliloquy on how much of a dick that guy is as a coach for the Eagles. We're going to get into the game. We're going to look more into who played well because it is about the players. But please, that can't be the storyline coming out of that thing. And once again, it's an uninspired effort. You look the same as you did a year ago, which means to me, you haven't addressed anything. Hey, Kellen Moore's the wrong OC for that guy as of right now. He's the wrong OC. 2022 and 23 were criticized for fast starts and wobbly endings. Now they have a good third and fourth quarter point differential, so I guess that's different. Dez, do me a favor, Dez. Tell me something, Dez. Does this football team in 24 look like the 23 team? You're 4-8. And don't they look like the same football team? That looks like you're going to get caught again. They look like the same football team. I mean, you can't score more than 20 points against the Cleveland. The Browns have a good secondary. Okay? By the way, this isn't really anything to do with Hurts, but kind of it does. So wait a minute, let me get this right. Brandon Graham and all the players on the Eagles wanted Nick to act like that? Getting into arguments with players on the sidelines again? Hey, by the way, he is involved in the play calling. It's evident. He is more involved in the play calling than what people think. You know why? Because at times it sucks. It's either Kellen or him. Or both. Dude, the Browns are the worst roster in the league offensively. That quarterback is absolutely ass. Holy cow. They are ass with him at the quarterback position. Dude, Deshaun Watson has to be benched. For the serenity of the rest of the roster and the players that are trying to win games, you got to put that guy on the bench. He absolutely sucks. Dude. God, is there a ton to get to. Angelo Cataldi will be with us at 4:30. Xander's going to be with us at 3:30. I can't wait to hear what Angelo says about this. That'll be at 4:30. Please hit the like button. Anthony, all of you guys, thank you so much for the super chats. Being incompetent is an issue. But him barking at us and blaming us for that environment is the worst thing I've ever seen as an Eagle head coach. Nick is the biggest joke in our history. Everything he does sucks. And I got to say this about Anthony. Anthony and I probably agree on 50% of the things here. And get this. He's unbecoming of the position of representing your city. This goes beyond being a coach. That guy represents your city as your head coach. He's a disgrace. Sirianni and Kellen are both involved, and you can tell when Nick calls a play because it's so bad it stalls the freaking drive. Absolutely. Xander, I may have missed the super chat there, the last one here before Daniel. My God almighty. No, I got it then. Okay. No, I thought it was a blue one. I got it. I see similarities, but I'm hoping they fix it. Thank you, Des. Got the Cowboys. I told you they'd spring oil. I'm going to give you my takeaways here in a second. Holy cow. It's utterly embarrassing. Yes, this morning I asked John, who's in charge of the game plan, because it looks the same as last year. Thank you, Prince. He says, it's Kelly. But why does it look the same? We have no identity again. Nick is the problem. Prince, you're right. It's Kellen Moore. He has his name on it like Brian Johnson did a year ago, but that's Nick. You see it. It looks the same. Prince, honest to God, you see it, don't you? It's the same. It's just got different names on it. Get this. How come Kellen Moore looks like Brian Johnson's playbook? Does that offense look any different to you than Brian Johnson's offense? I'm a Waker. You says it looked a little different. Yeah, because you had Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown on the field. But when you take them off, it exposes it as being the same. Sills, perhaps Nick would get more credit for scoring 20 points against a good Cleveland D if they didn't look so inept against the Falcons and the Saints and the Bucks. That offense is not... Dude, even Lane Johnson said it looks constipated. Take the players' word for it. They're not even happy with how they're playing. This is the same shit we heard a year ago. They were miserable. Hey, guys, how come we've been saying this the whole time? This shit here, yesterday's game, I'm not talking about winning. I'm talking about winning a Super Bowl. That football team is not a championship football team. And you got better against the shitty. It's, by the way, the Eagle defensive effort is fool's gold. Because the Browns are so incompetent. Better routes, but that's it. Better routes because there's more talented people out there. Dude, you think you're going to get, hey, Daniel, I'm not ripping you, dude. But Daniel, don't you think you're going to get better routes versus Paris Campbell and that guy fucking Ross versus Devontae and AJ? Don't you think you're going to get better routes? You know what solidifies a fan base? Pride. You win, you lose, but that's right. But you're a proud of our team kind of situation. Sirianni has made the Eagles into a laughingstock. Fans are pissed because it's impossible to be proud. Hey, dude, relative, you're dead on. Bro, you can barely win a game. But let me at least be proud of the whole thing. Hey, by the way, I don't think Eagle fans are going to be pissed off if the team is stumbling. But don't act like a dick about it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, dude, I told you this was going to be a bumpy start at the beginning of the year. None of you believe me. Well, it is. Get this. Even with your star players, it's going to be bumpy. You didn't want to believe me. Well, it is. But the point is, you don't have to be a dick about it. Eagles go 4-1 in the next 5 despite Nick. Possibly. Dude, Nick Sirianni makes it hard for Eagle fans to root for that team. It's one thing. And by the way, not just that stupid high school shit at the end of the game, screaming at his own fan base. The way he conducts himself on the sidelines with the situational play calling and those dumbass analytics and those stupid press conferences. He has to be the worst coach that's ever been in front of a microphone in Eagle history. Even Chip Kelly. This guy's the worst. I mean, he's terrible. And now he wants to take an asshole mentality. Xander said something interesting. He goes, hey, Sills, isn't that kind of Philly, though? Screaming at their own fan base? What? Because what? They booed you because of the incompetent offense at the beginning? Playoffs. Like it. We can't even win a game. Talking about playoffs, Jim Moore's voice. Playoffs? Philly fans deserve a great coach. Nick has to go. How about this, 85? It's not so much that you, and of course you do, deserve a great coach. You need to have a coach that represents your city and is proud to coach in it, good and bad. Nick Sirianni's a front runner. When things are going great, he's awesome. When things go bad, he is terrible. It showed last year and it showed yesterday. He's terrible. He's a front runner. He's not qualified. You know, Nick might be a better head coach in his next stop if he ever gets that opportunity. He might be a better head coach. Honestly, because right now, he's a front runner. He's a front runner. Things go good, he's great. Things go shitty, absolutely the worst thing I've ever seen. The story coming out of that game is two things. The Eagles not looking like a championship team and you not having a championship coach. And by the way, don't you think that could potentially be synonymous with each other? The reason why you don't look like a professional team and a championship team is because your coach is not. Did you ever put that in there? Make Kelsey the coach at this point. Dude. Kelsey's a mouthpiece for the organization, too. I want a guy with some balls. Kelsey doesn't have any balls. He's got the organization's balls in his mouth, too. Try to get somebody in there that's going to have an ironclad fist. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to win. Jason Kelsey, be the worst hire on the planet. 2 weeks to prepare, bad coach and nearly $200 million in offense, and you get 20 points. My Commanders will, with a rookie quarterback, drop 34, less talent. Sirianni's behavior towards the fans 2 weeks later after Slay's debacle, weak leadership, weak minds, weak team. Xander, I missed the super chat in there because they're coming fast, and I appreciate it. By the way, guys, you guys are all great. Okay? Please hit the like button. 7 wins is the ceiling for the Eagles this year. Sills, here's the issue with Nick being a jackass to the fans after a suspect win. He mumbles and tucks tail after he loses. If you speak up after a win, don't fucking hide after you lose. Get to my takeaways here. Because I just don't want to make this about that asshole. He's an asshole. He's totally an asshole. I mean, dude, you don't have to like your coach. Okay? But don't make it harder on us. Dude, he makes their job hard. He makes their job hard. Just a complete asshole. Look at Even I'm Awake or You. It's all about him, Sills. Really? Why put yourself in the story? Why make yourself part of the story? Head coach, don't become part of the story. Will this front office ever hire a coach that they don't castrate before taking the job? No. Okay? A lot of truth in here, what Clear Voice says. Guys, please hit the like button. He's got free reign to act like an asshole like that. Being the owner. Hey, how about this? Do you think that guy owes you an apology? You think Sirianni owes the fans an apology? Just for his conduct. Hey, man, I got a little ahead of myself. And, Jarrell goes, fuck no. Okay? I'll tell you what then. If that guy doesn't say sorry, he's getting murdered every day on this program. And I'll tell you why. He's oblivious to who you are. He don't know who you are. He's a liar. He has no idea what that thing is. Dude, I'm going to tell you about what this is. It's a Canes thing. And you guys have it. Do the players really love Sirianni, or do they have to say it? Probably the latter. You always hear that line with players saying it's a Canes thing. Well, I'm going to apply something to you, and I'm going to let you share in it. This is called a Philly thing. It's not about winning and losing. It's about representing. And it's how you win and lose. It's about a process. It's about believing and having civic pride in who you play and what you play for. Proudest thing outside my family's being a Miami Hurricane. And one of them dudes, not just a Cane, one of them Canes. Historical Canes. You got a historical franchise. That guy doesn't know shit about it. Dude, he reminds me a little bit of Urban Meyer in a way. Urban Meyer was an absolute liar. Nick looks like a great family man, by the way. Meyer's not. Okay? Urban Meyer's not. And he has no character. I think Nick does. But this is way over his skis, being the head coach of the Eagles and repping Philly. Dude, there's a different deal when you rep a team from the New England area and from the Northeast than, say, anywhere else in the country. Those fucking fans demand it. Boston, Buffalo. Do you think there's any coincidence that some of those fans from some of those cities are the hardcore fans of all time? Pittsburgh, Philly, New York, Boston. Hey, 304, if you're in here, how about them Cowgirls? A little different, man, than, say, being a fan in Carolina. Carolina doesn't give a shit about the Carolina Panthers, even when they're winning. Down in that neck of the woods, you know who they care about? They care more about the Gamecocks than they do about Carolina. North Carolina care more about college hoop. Don't give a shit about the Carolina Panthers. That was embarrassing. I haven't even got to the game yet. By the way, there was some good moments by good people. We're going to get to that. But it's overshadowed by that ass clown, Nick Sirianni. Sills, you can't have an Eagle thing or a Philly thing when most of your players are transplants who are paycheck players. There's no sense of team pride or the drive not to fail your teammate. That's right, because you have mercenaries. These guys, he's talking about them being mercenaries and not being homegrown guys. Cowgirls, so down bad, had to remove the scoreboard. They shut the scoreboard off. You feel fulfilled after that 20. By the way, remember I told you, take the Browns and the points. They weren't going to score a shitload of points. There was, you know what? Xander and everyone, oh, they're going to put points. I'm like, no, they're not. What made you believe that? What, because you got AJ and Devontae back? Nothing's changed. I'm trying to tell you this. Nothing's changed. Holy crap. It doesn't matter who's out there. Nothing's changed. You're still not playing championship football. Hoss, this is going to catch you again like it did a year ago. Surely you see this. That nothing has been adjusted. I don't know what else to tell you. Bob told Nick to bring my kids up there. Probably. Bob thought it'd be a good idea to put the kids up there as human shields. Man, no way. If I knew I was going to get killed for that performance out of a bye and then behavior of the coach, I'd throw my kid up there. Hey, this is Danielle. How you doing? Don't be so mean to me. Holy shit. You kidding me? Really? How many people in Philly would throw their kids out there like that? And I even hate saying this. I mean, this is personal now when you do that. Pretty sad when Dallas loss is more exciting than a Philly win. When you have so many parts of an organization that stink, you have to look at the owner. Absolutely, Eagle. Laurie's the issue. Yeah, because he creates the culture that they work in. Absolutely. How shitty is that for a man like me and you in here or a woman in here that I have to say this? How pathetic was it that Sirianni brought his family out there so he wouldn't get too many hard questions thrown at him and he wouldn't be embarrassed in front of the national media, which he is anyway. Damn, man. You know what, man? I was like, I felt sorry for him. And to part of what Xander said to me before he went on, Sills, don't you kind of like it? No, because why address it? Isn't that wasted energy that he talked about in that press con? Hey, Xander, everyone, don't you remember when he talked about when John McMullen, our very own John McMullen, asked him about Robert Saleh being fired? He said, I can't worry about things I can't control. Why would he create that then? Because he could totally control that. Barking at the fans, being involved in the play calling, some of these stupid things that he's doing. Isn't that wasted energy? That's self-inflicted. All the things he said, I can't worry about that kind of shit. Well, what about your own job? You could have controlled that. Laurie's such a nerdy. Thinks Sirianni's antics are cool. Dude, the only reason that guy's not in the principal's office today because they won. His unprofessional behavior and his incompetence as a play caller are shrouded by the winning. Do you know why you're only winning 20-16? Because that coach is in the way from you winning 28-16. How about this? Have you ever seen an Eagle team win 20-16 and look like they lost? The Browns didn't even play well. It wasn't like the Browns played well. I mean, let's not make the Browns out to be anything that they're not. They're not a good offensive team. Hit the like button, please. Sills, would Belichick act like that? You know what's funny? I watched that Belichick. Guys were talking about replacing a 37-year-old at the time, Tom Brady. Because we're on to Cincinnati. Bill, you guys didn't play. We're on to Cincinnati. Bill, what did you make of the effort? We're on to Cincinnati. And people hated Belichick for that mentality. And they ripped him because you know why? He gave them nothing. Bill Belichick's personality towards the media is classic. Because you know why? You can't touch that guy's fucking resume. He looks at you and laughs. Now I can't win without that. Hey, fuck you. Got 6 rings. 2 as a coordinator. I got 8 rings. And I coached the 2 greatest players on both sides of the ball. You all can blow me. I don't care. But that's not Nick. I hope the Eagles win enough to keep Sirianni spoken like a true cowboy guy. So we know how. So we know why Big Dom is on the sidelines to keep Nick in check. Clearly, Dom wasn't doing his job. I think Dom was probably stunned that he ran over to the crowd and started screaming at him. He probably couldn't believe what he was seeing. I mean, all right. I'm sure this will be a massive topic throughout the day. And it's continued. God, by the way, everybody nationally is making fun of him. Your coach is a joke. This guy's the modern day Rich Kotite. And he's your guy. Wow. The Philadelphia Eagles have a laughingstock for a head coach. And there's nothing you can do about it because your owner likes that setup, according to like what Xander said, because it is a setup. Sirianni's the Jason Garrett of the Eagles. It's a great comparison. Anthony, frankly, it looks like a nervous breakdown for him. Dude, and let me ask you this. Not that shaving your head's a big deal. But when you combine it all, shaving your head, screaming at the crowd, he seriously looks like the guy who was in the movie Taxi. What's next? He's going to take a rifle out or a gun? I mean, this guy looks like a serial killer now. I mean, he's so erratic in his behavior. Tried to calm Carter down versus Saints. Then turns around and does that right. I mean, that guy looks like the guy from the Taxi Driver. The guy who was like stalking Jodie Foster. You're like, dude, I mean, he looks like a guy who's going to get on a roof and take a shot at somebody. I'm like, so he shaves his head, starts screaming at people. You're telling me you don't think that's a nuclear meltdown? Damn. This kind of guy you want on your side. There you go, M. Reyes. He's happy Sirianni's his coach. There's going to be some people out there like him that are. He loves Nick Sirianni. He thought that was cool. He thought his team not being prepared like that was cool too. I'm sure of it. Right? Good old Nicky Kotite. How you doing? Damn it, I just stepped in Sills walking my dog. No. You mean you stepped in a Sirianni? Because I'll have to wipe my Sirianni soon. Says I looked up Todd Haley with the Steelers and Browns. He's just like Dick Sirianni. He's a cancer on this team, and I need someone like Jalen or BG to speak up on it. They're never going to. Now, when you make $50 million, you're not going to go against the company. Jalen's a company man. So is BG, and so is Jason Kelce. They're all company guys. You don't speak against the company. Company dudes. Dude, that Lions team looks absolutely sensational. That's why I picked them to win the Super Bowl. All right, let's get to the takeaways from the game. and talk about the team. I just spent 35 minutes on that asshole. Once again, 2016, Eagles get the win. They run their record of 3-2. I watched two bad football teams play a game on Sunday at Lincoln Financial. It was a horrifically played football game on both sides of the football, with the Eagles making plays because they're a more talented roster. The Browns stuffed the Eagle run game and did a great job, and they made Jalen Hurts beat them. I thought Vic Fangio did a nice job, and I thought he was more aggressive than I've seen him so far this year. It must have been a priority to get after Deshaun Watson, because Vic Fangio was very aggressive in this game. He did things in this game, especially with pressure, that he hasn't done in the first four. Why is Sirianni still the head coach? Seriously. Because the owner loves having a scapegoat. Do you understand, Gary? Gary, Nick Sirianni is a pseudo version of Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell takes all the slings and arrows and bad things that happen that people hate in the league, and that's why he makes $65 million. That's exactly what you have with your head coach. That's why he's taking the blame for all the shit he calls, both defensively and offensively, and no one believes him. The press conference with his kids that he excited due to bipolar. The press conference with his kids that he's excited due to bipolar. Kimberly, bringing your kids like that up there, I didn't know what he was doing. A press conference after a game like that, where you're going to be questioned for your unprofessionalism, you bring your kids to? I might want to shield my kids. You bring your kids to that'd be like bringing your kids to a firing. You people want every drive to be a TD, every defensive possession to be a 3-and-out, unrealistic expectations. Jarrell, I just want a professional operation. That's not what we're saying here. You're way off. Brother, I love you, man, but you're off here. That's not what I'm saying. This ain't about wins and loses. This is about preparation, being prepared, working on the things that make you great, working on the things that don't make you great, acting like a pro on the sidelines. I'm not even talking about the winning and losing yet. I'm talking about just a clean operation on going to work and not playing down to your competition like they did. That's all I'm saying here. I mean, nobody's saying perfect. No, well, you don't have to worry about that, Jarrell. They're the only team in the first time in franchise history they haven't scored a point in the first quarter. Let's get real. We have absolutely no lack of talent on offense. The biggest problem has to be Hurts. How much so does Moore have into play calling this team? This offense looks awful. And Hurts isn't a top 20 quarterback. Hey, 0-1, you tell me if that doesn't look the same. Dude, nobody's hating on Jalen here. I'm going to get to him. By the way, please hit the like button. Let me get through what my takeaways are here. I thought Vic was very aggressive. You were aggressive against the shitty offense. Yeah, good. Devontae Smith was explosive. 3 catches, 21 yards a catch. Touchdown. He was explosive. Sills, I get the premise behind his game. Should have been a blowout, but it wasn't as close as the box score. The Browns offense scored 0 points. That's not the point, though, my friend. My point is you made it a fourth quarter game against a shitty football team that still had a chance to win it. when that thing should have been blown out. That was a blowout team. You should have blew that team out playing a D game. You played a D- game. Eagles have a fall guy every year. Nick's purpose are these charades. Can't have Dream Team 2.0. Kellen is the same guy, more tactful. Howie can't go down. Hey, clairvoyant, absolutely. Just different name. Remember what I said? Different names. And like I told you too on Friday, take the points. Eagles aren't scoring. They're not going to beat them by more than 9 points. Absolutely no way. Absolutely no way were they going to. I mean, if they had been playing clean football and scoring a ton of points, there's no way they were going to get those guys in the end zone. They did get back to motion. There was some more motion. Get this, though. How absolutely predictable is this going to be in 2 weeks? So I see when Devontae and AJ are not on the field, Kellen goes away from motion. But when those two guys are back on the field, they go back to motion. I got it now. He likes going to those two guys and no one else. Wow. Talk about predictability. Coordinators will figure this out in 8 quarters. Dude, we're sitting here figuring that out. You're right. African turf, he goes like this. Sills back to motion. I know. I saw it too. And I went like this. That's so predictable. They're going to throw to the numbers again. Guys are going to get their numbers, but are you going to get wins? Same as a year ago. This is the same shit. There you go, Brian. Brian, it's going to catch you again. Brian, it's going to catch you again. We had a Bryce Huff sighting. Good. Half a sack, couple tackles. Someone asked me in the postgame show, Sills, what do you, with Xander, he asked me in the postgame show. Well, let's get a trend going here. That's a beginning. It's a beginning. I wouldn't write home about anything here, but that's a beginning. Okay? All super chats go to the top. Please hit the like button. You guys have been great so far. Thank you so much. Sills, this offense looks like the same as a year ago. There is 2 consistent variables, Sirianni and Hurts. We need to remove one to see what it is. I'd like to see Hurts without Sirianni. Yeah, me too. Me too. Me too. By the way, you see some folks in here making excuses. Once again, they're the same people that were telling me 10-1 last year. And I kept telling you, it'll catch you. And it did. Same here. It'll catch you. This is a wild card team at best. A coach is supposed to be the steady presence on a good team, not the unpredictable guy. Blame Howie for doubling down. Absolutely. Okay? We were applauding a mediocre performance against a shitty team. How far have we fallen? Do you think when Lane said the offense was constipated, did he mean Hurts? I think he means the play caller. Hurts has confused stink face look every single pre-snap. Breed of none. A little bit. That's a good observation by you. A little bit. I saw it. How about this here? I want to get to one more. Let me get through this here. You know what I did like about Hurts? He took the game away from the coordinator and the head coach on the last play and audibled out of it. Xander even said it on the postgame show. What a risky throw that you could have given the Browns the opportunity to win the game if there's a turnover. You know what? I'd rather die with that than die with Sirianni or Kellen Moore's decisions. You're only going to go as far as your quarterback. How many times does Xander say that? You're only going to go as far as that guy takes you. And if that guy took the game into his hands, I am totally cool with that, even if he turned the ball over. That was a Jalen Hurts decision. Well, it's about fucking time. It's about time. There is no question. Kellen Moore is struggling with something offensively. He's struggling. The rhythm is not there. And it's, hey, can I ask you something? So Kellen Moore, when you put a game plan together all week and you had the first 25 plays scripted, and those are the plays that you are probably going to be your best 25 plays, having watched hours of tape, conversations with your assistants, you put them down on a script and you go against what you think is going to put you in the end zone, right? It's the most scripted part of the game plan, or the first 25 plays. How in the world is it that you come out of a bye and your first two series, the quarterback goes 0-5 and they have 3 and outs out the ass like that, and they finished off the fact that they haven't, for 5 straight games, scored a point in the first quarter. Not even a field goal. Isn't that supposed to be a part of the football game that you've scripted out with numerous conversations? That's right. And you know what? It seems to be your most ineffective part of the game. This doesn't look like any of Moore's offenses from the past. Not in Dallas, for sure. It screams Sirianni. He's struggling with the power to call his own offense. DJ saying this could be right. Get this. McAfee's doing skits of your head coach. Wow. Hurts finished the game, though, 16-20, 264, 2 TDs, 33 yards rushing, and most importantly, no turnovers. I thought Jalen played well. I did. I thought he played well, man. I still think there were some shitty throws out there that he made. Overthrows, underthrows. He's not the most accurate guy when it comes to making critical plays to keep series going, but he was good. I have no problem with his play. Jalen, as a matter of fact, is the reason you won the game, because they stopped Barkley. Cleveland said this: they don't believe he can win, and he did. He did. He found his 2 favorite receivers, and it was enough because of all the injuries that Cleveland had on the other side to get the job done. Barely. Still's the best defensive player for the Eagles, Deshaun Watson. Could you imagine Belichick with his grandkids at the presser? No. By the way, any competent quarterback would have beat the Eagles by 10 points. Thanks for the super chats. Our head coach is the biggest clown in sports history. In Eagle history, for sure. I mean, this guy is an ass bag. I can't, I'm becoming now, it's uncomfortable to, how you get into a room where there's a guy that's, everyone's having a fun time at a party and a guy walks in the room and he makes the room uncomfortable. He's that guy. He's totally that guy. That guy makes the room uncomfortable. Dan Sileo, official ESPN video on YouTube, had the title, Nick Sirianni is a clown. After a win. Dude, you know you're an asshat when you're getting hammered after a win. My God, if they had lost, he's getting murdered after a win. Dude, I agree with James Jones. This guy looks like he snapped, like he's having a nervous breakdown. I mean, you might want to get this guy some help. This guy's having a nervous breakdown. I mean, Jalen on the blitz. Hurts looks predetermined where he goes with the ball, either AJ or Devontae. And he won't even look off the safeties. Hey, Bearded, obviously, that's what makes him so predictable. Is exactly what you're saying. That's why it looks the same as a year ago. All I say is that with Vrabel, this team is a true contender. Dude, with anybody else other than him, the team's a true contender. Jalen on blitzes. They blitzed him 53.6% of the time in that game, and he was 6 of 12 from the pocket for 105 and 2 TDs. He's definitely getting better at it. This is not going to be an issue here, or we still have to see a little bit more of a sample size, but something that you really used to hamstring him and put him in bad situations. He's playing better at it. If Lurie says he's had enough of how the world is shitting on the Eagles, who would replace Nick? Jesus. Think of somebody that is the most innocuous guy out there. Think of a guy that works at like a White Castle, or somebody that works at like a photo place, or like some sort of like Home Depot or something like that. Vrabel with this roster would be Campbell on steroids. Yeah, the guy that Jeffrey Lurie will hire, it's like Office Depot or something. Somebody from that kind of stuff. Yeah, pens and notepads are in aisle 7. Yeah, over there. Aisle 7, notepads. Lane Johnson calls your offense constipated. Wonder what he means. Barkley, 18 carries, 47 yards. They shut him down. That was the number one objective. A.J. Brown was awesome. Hey, by the way, Dallas Goedert hurt again? Jesus, Griman. Every year, it's something with this guy. Now it's a hamstring, shoulder, elbow, ankle, hamstring. Oh, God almighty. Jesus, criminy. I mean, guy, every year for the last 6 years, it's been something with him. Something with him every freaking year. Defense. Carter was really good, especially when the center went down. Good. Because that didn't happen in that Buck game. You got killed in that Buck game. But when the center went down this time, Jalen Carter showed up. He had a good game. By the way, I actually thought that the backup defensive tackles had a better first half, though. Brandon Graham, 5 tackles, pressure. I mean, he's playing really great, man. Really, this is last year for him? Okay? Really, this is the last year for him? This guy's playing really good ball. I mean, this guy's hit the fountain of middle age or some shit because he looks good, man. And by the way, he's doing it consistently. Like, he's played as good a football as anybody on defense for the first 5 weeks. Anybody on that defensive football team for the Philadelphia Eagles has been Brandon Graham. I mean, dude, he keeps this up. You're going to invite that guy's ass back, and you may give him a little extra dough to come back. I thought that was just going to be some shit thing that they do, like with the Trotter draft pick. Okay? Like that kind of shit. But that guy's playing great ball. He's playing really good football. Kudos to him, man. Good for Brandon Graham. On his 200th game, he was an impact guy. He was an impact guy. He was an impact guy. We had a Bryce Huff sighting, like I said. Wow. 5th game, there was a sighting. Now look, this is kind of the same shit that went on with Hassan Reddick. Took 6 games to get his ass going. Is this a beginning? I don't know. Half a sack, a few tackles. Hey, it's better than pitching a shutout like he has been when it comes to his statistics. Good for him. You mentioned Goddard. What about Slay? Always hurt. It's old age now with his ass. Could Philly offer Steichen more money to come back as head coach? You'd have to give up a draft choice for him. Once you have a head coach under contract or any player under contract, don't you remember the Dolphins getting their first round draft pick taken away over the Brady stuff when he was under contract with the Buccaneers? They penalized the Dolphins. They lost a first round pick over that shit. You can't do that. That's not how that works. You'd have to give up compensation for Shane Steichen, and Jim Irsay would want a high pick. You know why? Because he feels jobbed out of the whole Carson Wentz thing. So to go get Shane Steichen, the only way you're going to hire Shane Steichen as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, if he gets blown out. Jim Irsay feels like he got jobbed. Josh Sweat had a great game. Josh Sweat has played pretty good 2 of the last 3 weeks. I'm starting to see Josh Sweat at 22 again. He had a really good football game. Sweat is playing good. Cooper DeJean. I'm pretty shocked. I'll admit it. Guy missed all the training camp. That guy's a torpedo running to the ball. And he's got good tracking. He's got great pursuit angles. He keeps everything in front of him. I mean, had to be the reason that Vic didn't put him in because he just didn't feel maybe conditioning-wise, or he didn't maybe know the defense and the defensive schemes enough to feel comfortable putting him in and starting him. Okay? That's an upgrade. They're in your slot. By the way, you'll never see him on the numbers. Because if he can carve out that position for him, a slot safety in today's NFL, where do people throw the ball? They throw the ball to the middle of the field. That's an asset position. Okay? Safety and slot. You can play both. You're going to make some money. You're going to make some money. It's truly an upgrade over Avonte Maddox. Okay? Avonte Maddox now creates depth for you there at that position too. Not saying that Avonte is great in any way, but it creates depth. Ultimately, just unsatisfying win, but again, the two things that you come away with from a team perspective, and not that whole Sirianni bullshit, you didn't turn the ball over. You won the game. You're moving on to a divisional opponent in New York Giants. Okay? You're moving on to an opponent that, in theory, the Eagles have handled pretty handily over the last 3 years. I know last year, I get it. I got it. Pizza guy beat you. The team was in a nuclear meltdown. Okay? But you got 2 weeks here now where you can get yourself going here and start to gather some steam. Folks, week 6 concludes tonight. You're going into week 7 now. We're not talking about small sample sizes now. You're starting to get closer to the middle of the season here. You got to start finding your identity and a rhythm. Steel's firing Nick now. Do we get better under Moore? How about this, Justo? It's a great question. Do you think there'd be less noise if Nick is creating noise? That's not needed. Don't you agree? Dude, take all the bullshit. Hey, dude, Justo, if you took the bullshit away, it would give you more clarity. Nick is just he's a cancer. 2 games in a row, no interceptions for Hurts. It's a great one more game. You're now talking about a trend. Good. Good. Hit the like button, please. By the numbers now. I'm going to show you. Dude, the Eagles were fighting themselves in this game. They weren't fighting the Browns. What did the Browns stretch? What did the Browns do in this game? First downs, 19 for Philly. Cleveland, 14. Dude, I think Cleveland's defense played great. I think they played great. You hold the Eagles to 20 points, and you kept your team in the game. Myles Garrett was the best player on the field, and that includes A.J. Brown. He's the best player on the field. By the way, those 2 guys, it was them 2 and then everyone else. I mean, Myles Garrett is some football player. What an absolute insane player he is. Okay? Here, get this. The Browns held the Eagles to 62 plays, and Cleveland only had 53. That's not a shocker. Cleveland stinks. Total yards. Cleveland had 244 yards of total offense. It's kind of what they've been doing all year. You know, think about it. How many people think that the Eagles defense played great against the Browns? How many? I'm going to show you how this is fool's gold. Okay? How many people think the Eagle defense played great? And I'm going to make a point to you with trends. Abe goes, I don't. I think they played C-, Jarrell. C+. Okay. So you guys don't think it was B is way out of hand. I thought so, but convince me. I'm adding trading for Myles Garrett. Wow. B. Good, not great. Okay, here. Some of you can help me on this. Xander, I think you threw some of these numbers up. What were the Browns averaging as points going into this game? Wasn't it between 16 and 18 points? Well, they hit their average. Weren't they averaging about 253 yards a game? Well, they had 244 total yards. Wasn't the quarterback averaging 154 yards a game? They had 144. They actually did better in rushing. They're averaging 91, got 100. The Browns didn't do anything special. They did exactly who they were. You didn't do anything special to them. They hit all their numbers. That's what they were doing as an average coming into the game. 16 to 18 points a game. 244 yards of total offense, 250, I think it was, 251. I mean, you didn't do anything special in this game. That's why it's an underwhelming performance. Seals Cowgirls blew out the Browns. Are they better? No. Okay? I mean, where do you think you did anything special to the Browns? The Browns were who they were. You didn't do anything special. And you're hearing people say they played great, holding these numbers. This is what they did coming into the game. Seals, they didn't let up a single TD. Like I said, they average 16 points a game. Okay. They don't score TDs anyway. RTF. The Browns don't score points. But by the way, remember what Xander said? Godfrey, you had 5 sacks? Aren't they averaging giving up 7? What did you do special? The Browns were who they were. I went back and looked at all the numbers. They hit all their seasonal numbers. This is who they are under Deshaun Watson. 16, 18 points, 53 to 60 plays a game, 251 yards of total offense. They're coming into the game, 244, 7 off. You didn't do anything special. It was like a C-minus effort. I mean, the Browns were who they are. And now you got people that will have fool's gold that you guys played well defensively when you really didn't. You played down to competition. So one thing Xander kept bringing up, they played down to their competition. That's exactly what they did. They played down right to the numbers. I mean, Cincinnati will be our test. I don't think they're great defensively, but offensively they will. Hey, Bob, you know what I'm saying? They didn't do anything special defensively. Sills, they hit their average with help of an outstanding special teams play. They got them to their average, but keeping their offense to 9 means our scoring defense was better. Okay. I'm talking about just as an overall group, Bob, that it was a fourth quarter game, Bob, against the shittiest offense in the league. Do you agree, Bob? They made it a fourth quarter game. By the way, it's 2 weeks in a row. Your special teams and Michael Clay should be questioned. You had a block punt the week before against the Bucks. Now you had a block field goal that went for 6. You think he should answer some questions on that? And by the way, how about the sequence of that? Barkley misses a block. Hurts gets sacked. Then you have a complete catastrophe with the block by Myles Garrett. He's known jumping over people. He blocks it and takes it back. Barkley was not engaged in that game. There were many times he looked like he was just not engaged. Okay? Giants going to give us some problems. That D looks good. Their front, and with Mulata being out, King, we'll see. Seals, you said if they had a competent quarterback, they'd win. But if they had Nick Chubb, they'd probably win. Hurts passed for 256 yards on the Browns, most allowed by the Browns defense this season. Okay? I wasn't talking about – I think the Browns played great defensively. I mean, for an incompetent offense that they have, what exactly are you expecting them to do? They look like the 2023 version of the Jets right now. They have no offense, and they can play defense. And if you're not prepared to play, you're going to have inconsistent play like the Eagles did on Sunday. Because they can force you into that because they have some playmakers. By the way, when people on the broadcast were talking about injuries, hey, welcome to the league, man. The Eagles were suffering injuries too. Goddard went out. Slay got hurt. Mulata got hurt. By the way, Mulata's injury looks severe. Like, I'm talking month and a half stuff. I mean, I posted a video of him, and he was on crutches. And that thing don't look like he's playing anytime soon. I'll tell you this. There is no way Jordan Mulata is playing in a month. No way. That guy's out at least 4 weeks. And Fred Johnson's going to have to step up. Now, you got yourself a really good coach in Jeff Stoutland. But make no mistake about it. I mean, look, I see somebody bring up Aiden Hutchinson. Hey, welcome to the league. Hey, Sills, you see Aiden Hutchinson's injury? Horrible. Part of it, though. I mean, dude, you got to remember something. When you play in a league like that, injuries are not a shocker to players and coaches. Okay? Do you pray for the guy? Of course. But it's on to the next drill. It's just what it is. Hey, Jordan Mulata's out. Listen, it sounds horrible, but okay, so what? Giants D leads the league in sacks so far. Hey, Nell, yeah, because, Kayvon Thibodeau looks like he's turning into somebody. The nose is a fantastic football player, and you don't have Kelsey there now. And Brian Burns is on the other side. They got a good front four, man. I'll say it one more time. The Giants have the best front four in the NFL. Or excuse me, in the NFC East. They have the best front four. There's nobody on the Eagles that plays like the Giant knows. Thibodeau is better than anything you have as a pass rusher, and Burns is the best defensive end in the East. And that includes Michael Parsons. Okay? Thibodeau's on IR. He's out 4 weeks, broken wrist. Okay? That helps. That helps. Hey, Sills, Mark Holmes ate a lot of food. Hey, dude, that guy's going to put on about 60 pounds in the next 4 weeks. Let's go to players. Hurts. 16-25 after going 0-5. He ended up 16-20, but overall 264, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Played a clean game, man. And you know what? Remember I kept pressing Xander, John, and everybody and all of you? If Jalen Hurts throws the ball 25 times and you carry the ball over 35 times, that's a remedy to win. That's exactly what they did. They were listening to Big Sills. Hurts, don't throw the ball more than 25 times. He ran the ball 14. Get AJ and those guys going with explosion plays. Don't throw the ball 37 times. You don't need to. You could play a C- effort and beat that team, and that's exactly what they did. So what do you think about Hurts now? My opinion on Jalen Hurts hasn't changed 1 second. What Do you actually think one performance changes your opinion on a fucking player? Are you out of your mind? Sills, if we lose to the Giants or it's close like Browns with Barkley, what happens in Philly? Elaborate. Muses, please. Hilarious to listen to. Status quo. That owner's not doing anything. That owner's not doing shit, man. That owner likes what's going on. Works both ways. You get bad games, you still got to support. This is not talking about, hey, okay, does that go for your fucking head coach too, M. Reyes? Does that go for your head coach when things are going good? He could sit around there slapping people on the back, telling you how great your fans are. And then when the fans start to chant, fire Nick, or things look bad in the first couple series, and he calls the fans out, doesn't that apply to him too? I mean, you still got to support, don't you? Right? Terrell goes back on the coach again. Terrell wants that shit to go away because everyone in the country is making fun of his coach. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. If I were Jarrell too, I wouldn't want that topic continually brought up. You know why? It's probably embarrassing for him that he's got some high school coach coaching his team. It's probably embarrassing for him. I don't blame him. Hey, Sills, can you not bring that up anymore? Back on the coach again? Back on the coach again. That's all the country's talking about. The only people that aren't talking about Nick Sirianni are the people that are in Philly. You know why? Because the organization is now controlling the media today. I guarantee you, he's not going to be pressed for his behavior by anybody in the media today. No way. Bob Lang will go fucking nuts on you. I guarantee it. Talk about Howie. Why? I mean Howie. We was winning games and playing how we supposed to play. Nick's antics wouldn't be a big deal. Winning curves everything. Jeff, the only reason, but Jeff, think about this. Winning's not curing it. He did win. And everyone's killing him for his antics and his meddling in the play calling. Can you imagine if he is losing? Jeff, he's getting murdered and he's winning. So your theory here is wrong. They won and he's getting murdered. He's getting murdered. Hey, I get Jarrell. I don't blame him. We love Jarrell. Absolutely. Hey, I don't blame him. I wouldn't want that shit going around that I have an embarrassment for a head coach. Hey, I'm Reyes. You can fucking support your guy all you want. He's a loser. And by the way, I'm not talking to you any longer about Nick anymore. You want to bring up something else, but I'm not bringing that loser up with you. And I'm not going to sit here and defend a guy who's a child and acts like a child and needs a stripper's bodyguard on the sidelines because he's so immature. What coach has a bodyguard on the sideline because he can't act right? I mean, this guy has to have someone watch over him because of his behavior. This guy's 40 some odd years old. When are you going to fucking grow up? When are you going to grow up? How about that? I'll tell you what, Jarrell. How about just grow up? You know, just grow up. Barkley, 18 carries, 47. By the way, will somebody do me a favor? Will somebody tell me how many carries Jalen Hurts has on the year so far? Okay, now John is right. There were 2 kneel downs that were involved in that. And by the way, I happen to disagree with John on the tush push. I think it is a dangerous play. You're inside there with all that beef. You ever notice they don't let Mahomes do that any longer after he got hurt in that Tennessee game? He doesn't do that quarterback sneak any longer. They do not do that any longer in Kansas City. They don't put him in harm's way with that. You got about 900 pounds or 1,200 pounds inside that little confined space. I mean, did you not see what happened to Aiden Hutchinson in traffic? Okay. Slayer, is that 56 carries? Let's do something here. 56 carries for Jalen Hurts. Okay. He's on pace for 190 carries this year. Never make it. Hey, Sills, would you accept the loss yesterday if it meant getting rid of the cancer coach in the locker room because winning keeps him around? No. I'm not taking an L just to make a point. No, I can't do that, dude. 34. I can't do it. I can't say let's just throw again. I cannot do that. I just can't do it. I'm not losing a game. Hey, I hate losing more than I hate Nick. Okay? So I can't do that. And I got the premise. Big Sileo, you know what is pissing me off more than anything else is the fact that nobody's talking about the offensive line. They're bad right now. I don't know, Richard, if the offensive line is bad right now or it's a philosophical change that they want to throw the ball more and not be physical at the point of attack. I think it's like a course change that they're doing in Philly. You know, back in the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers used to run the ball with Bettis and everybody and all the great backs that they've had in the past. Then they got into throwing the ball all around the yard, and they became a finesse team. And I think that's kind of, in a way, what's happened here a little bit. Okay? Okay? Did you see how Nick's 4-year-old looked at him? She's adorable. No comment on kids. The kids are great. I love the daughter. I should have known the daughter was trying to tell us when she first got in front of the microphone when she was goofing on her father. She was trying to tell us right there that this guy's a word salad. I should have picked it up. Okay? I should have picked that up. Hit the like button. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you for coming aboard here. A.J. Brown was a star, as always. 6 catches, 117, and a TD. Cal Kutera showed up. 4 catches, 67 yards. Devontae, 3 impact plays, 64 yards and a touchdown. He's a great football player. And now, my game balls. Here are my game balls. Guys I thought played exceptional football. And guys who helped win that game in an uninspired effort. Gave it to Jalen Hurts. No turnovers. My favorite play of the game that Jalen Hurts played yesterday was audibling out of Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni's offense and taking matters into his own hand. Enough was enough. He wasn't going to let them control the narrative of the ending of the game. I so loved that. I so loved it. When I found out that he audibled out of it, and like Xander said, risk, but it's growth. I'm not putting it in their hands. Because you know what Jalen probably thought? Now, this is an opinion. You remember when you were in like little school? You were like in middle school and you got called to the principal's office. And you were like, you got to apologize because you punched somebody or you did something. Sister Judith has me say something in front of the school that I have to apologize because I may have offended somebody. That's what this feels like. I mean, this guy is such an ass bag, and it's apologizing. He opens the press conference apologizing to the Eagle fans instead of talking about the game that you played on Sunday. I'm here talking about giving game balls out, and he's apologizing to you for his behavior. I mean, holy shit. This is too fucking funny, man. Oh, my God. M. Reyes' hero is such an ass clown. He's apologizing to you. I'm sorry for calling you motherfuckers. Apology not accepted. Apology not accepted. Fuck you for starting to chant, fire Nick. Oh, I'm sorry. Dude. Bray. Oh. Here he is. Serial killer Sirianni. I was trying to bring energy yesterday, and I'm sorry and disappointed how my energy was directed at the end of the game. I have to have better wisdom. Oh my God, this is fucking too funny. Hey, what was the name of that guy? What was the character, the name of that guy that was in Taxi Driver? Don't take that picture down yet, Xander. What was the name of that guy that was in? What was the name of De Niro's character in Taxi Driver? Travis Bickle. Hey, wait a minute. Do me a favor. He can't even apologize good. Hey, here's Travis Bickle. Put him up there. There's Travis Bickle from Taxi Driver. Look at him. Travis Bickle. Right there, man. That's the guy Jodie Foster was afraid of. Travis Bickle. Look at this guy, man. Holy shit. This guy, hey, is this the guy that was in Butler, Pennsylvania? Holy shit. Is this the guy on the roof? This guy looks like he belongs on a roof. Don't worry, Sills. Your old pal Nick apologized. How you doing? Now go shake his hands and tell him how good of a clown. I mean, coach he is. Travis Bickle. There he is, head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Travis Bickle. Wanted. Dead or alive. Have you seen this head coach of the Eagles? This guy belongs on a dead or alive poster. Or like, look at this picture here, Xander. I saw this when I went to go mail some letters at the post office. 6th most wanted man in Philadelphia and in America. Yeah, this guy belongs on Natural Born Killers. Have you seen this guy? Yeah, I saw him on the sidelines. He was he was parading and masquerading as the head coach of the Eagles. Holy shit. Travis. Hey, do you work for the CIA? Yeah. Hey, if you work for the CIA, holy cow, man. Hey, Travis Bickle, he shaved his head too, right? He had a mohawk. Nick, oh my God, that would have been even better if Nick would have had a mohawk and he was screaming at you with a mohawk. Holy shit. Look at this guy. Dude, that looks like an arrest picture. Not that I would know. Sirianni, you talking to me? Oh my God. Wait, one more time, Xander. Put that up here. Hey, John McMullen, are you talking to me? Hey, John McMullen, are you talking to me? You talking to me? Are you talking to me? John McMullen, are you talking to me? Oh, hey, are you talking to me, Jeff McClain? Are you who are you talking to? What? All right, that's enough of that shit. Whew. Man, Travis Bickle, head coach of the Eagles. Oh, this is too good, man. Dude, I never thought wait a minute. I never thought a win would create more shit than I've ever seen before in my life. Look at that picture, man. That's a sign of leadership right there. Hey, I wish he was running for president in November. Look at this guy. Holy shit, man. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to run through a wall for this guy. Hairdo and all. Coach Travis Sirianni. Get this. I'm not the only guy making fun of this guy. Here is my game balls. Jalen Hurts. A.J. Brown. Dude, he's a star player. I gave one to Jalen Carter. I gave one to Josh Sweat. I gave one to Cooper DeJean. I gave one to Brandon Graham. And I gave one to Devontae Smith. Jesus. Those are my takeaways. Sirianni turning Sills into George Carlin. Yeah. It's easy, dude. JAKIB, it's not that hard. Your coach is a joke. It's not that hard. Nick Sirianni would still be a better president than Harris. I know I'd stepped in that one. Give one to Alfredo for giving us 30 more seasons to fire and keep up the good work. Thank you very much, King. Sweat earned his pay this year. He has. And I think he's playing really well. I do. I think he's playing really well. Dude. Coach's ass. Good night. Hey, my overall takeaway from the game was that it was uninspiring. You played down to the Browns' competition. The Browns played who they were. If you didn't turn the ball over, you were going to win, which you didn't. You beat them with a C- effort. And yeah, that's what it was. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing more, nothing less. There's no epiphany here. We won in spite of Nick. He sabotages his team. Hey, like I said to you, here are the numbers. Like Xander said last Friday. Dude, Sills, they're giving up 7 sacks a game. Well, Eagles had 5. They're averaging between 16 and 18 points. That's kind of what they did. They're averaging 251 yards a game, 244. The Eagles didn't do anything special on defense. The Browns played up to their capabilities. The Eagles played down to that team offensively. I mean, it was a fourth quarter football game. Still, they didn't give up a TD. Not the point. The Browns suck. Nobody said their defense blew. Hey, I got to tell you, man, before I get Xander on here, here's a guy that was in Philly. And let me tell you a little something. This guy born and raised in Philly. His dad, I'm sure Joe's dad's dad, anybody that's involved in that. Let me tell you what Jerome told me. That shit's a generational following to that team. Like, you just don't become an Eagle fan. And those are outsiders. Like, I could never be an Eagle fan. You know why? I wasn't raised on it. These guys were raised on it. Now, you can acquire a taste for Philly, but those are not real fans. The people in that city, okay, their dads, back to the 30s were Eagle fans. Okay? That's why I say I'm a fan of you guys, because I could never be what you are. And I think you have to have passion to be shit like that. So Xander's got a head football coach right now that represents him and his family. He can say no all he wants. Before I bring him on here, he can say no all he wants. That guy has the moniker, and his head coach just apologized for being an asshole to him. Hey, can you imagine having General MacArthur going into battle or Eisenhower getting ready to storm the beaches of Normandy, and he called somebody an asshole, and all of a sudden he's got to go like this. Hey, man, I'm really sorry for calling you bad words and saying some bad things. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean that. Now go kill yourself storming the beaches of Normandy. Yeah, that's the leader I don't want. Well, Pat slaps the shit out of that guy. Good. He was a cowardly soul. Slap the shit out of that soldier. You don't want to fight when everyone else is fighting? You ain't going to go to the rear with the gear. But Xander's got a leader. Sorry. Hey, I'm really sorry. Now, the tremendous host Birds 365, also the pre and post game. And of course, I'm going to be very interested to see how he looks at Travis Bickle / Nick Sirianni. Okay, his head coach. Without further ado, we bring in Big Z, Xander Krauss.
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
What a day for you, man. I've never seen a guy win a game and get his ass kicked more than a head coach of any sport or manager today. I've never seen anything like this.
You know what, Sills?
He's a punchline now.
The pendulum is switching. It's turning for me, and it's turning quick. We just won a football game, and all we got to talk about is him chirping at the crowd. I don't care anymore. I've already moved on. We got the win. We're 3-2. I've already turned the page on Nick crying like a little girl to the Philadelphia fans. Was it childish? Yeah. Do I understand the people who say, well, we clap back at him. Why can't he clap back at us? I understand that. Now, when you're the head coach of a $5 to $7 billion football team, there's a level of standard and professionalism that I believe you should have. Does Nick have that? No. But that also doesn't make you a good football coach having that. Now, I'm not saying Nick is a good football coach, but I think this whole thing has become an easy talking point. I mean, I flipped through 14 channels today on TV. I flipped through 22 YouTube channels. Everybody's talking about Nick. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I don't give a shit anymore about Nick wanting to scream back at the fans. And now the owner has him coming out here apologizing, looking like an insane person. I wish he would have stuck with it. I wish he would have stuck with his guns and just said, you know what? I was clapping back at them because I've been hearing everything they've been saying. I was pumped our team came out of the bye and got a win.
Why couldn't he come out? Why couldn't he come out and go like this? Hey, I heard him booing me, fire Nick, and it kind of got the best of me. And why not just be transparent and say that? Got the best of me. Hey, man, you know what? My emotions got the best of me there. That was wrong, and I shouldn't have done that. I mean, you don't have to come out and make a complete switch in your personality when the apology has not – get this too, Xander. And to your point, didn't he come out during the bye week? Didn't he say when your guy, our guy, John McMullen asked him a point-blank question about Robert Saleh being fired, how does that affect you? He goes, I can't control things that I have no control over. I can't control noise like that. Well, here's something he could have controlled, and it's noise that's not productive to winning.
Yeah, but
everything he said is counterproductive to that moment.
Sills, it's gravy. It doesn't make you a good football coach.
It doesn't make you a good football coach, but the things that he's saying at the podium are completely counterproductive to the success of the team. And this is where I'm going with it. You said it, and I can't thank you for saying it to John. And everyone keeps pushing back on you on it, but I think you're 1,000% right. Why is it the same shitty thing that I saw last year right now? That team looked exactly like the 2023 team yesterday. It wasn't anything different. And it's because of Sirianni's influence on the offensive play caller. Didn't matter if it's that looked like Brian. Kellen Moore looks like Brian Johnson. There's no difference. Get this. The two guys got their Xander, look at this. The two guys got their numbers, and you beat the Browns by 4. Isn't that exactly what that was a year ago? Close games, playing down the shitty competition.
I think that's part of what Nick has done here. And I think in a way we've gone the wrong route in terms of eating it up. I mean, our team barely squeaked by the Browns. Granted, I'm happy to get a win. It's the NFL. Win is a win. I get it. Our team didn't look that great. I mean, we have some issues coming out of that football game. That was a pretty underwhelming performance. Look, we got the win, and I'll ask every Eagle fan to check in on this. Do you feel better about the football team? And when I say better, I don't mean get to the playoffs. I don't mean win the NFC East. I mean be a Super Bowl contender like we thought we were going to be coming into the year. Do you feel better about that after the Browns game? The answer to that is no. And that's what we'd be talking about right now. But we're talking about Nick Sirianni clapping back at Eagle fan. Like, I just think it's so petty and stupid at this point. And I'll tell you something I like about Nick Sirianni that I'm learning to like about him right now. And it's another pendulum that he's shifting for me. This dude falls on every sword that sticks out. It doesn't matter if it's offense, defense, coaches, players. He falls on every freaking sword,
But
dude.
it's not genuine.
Sills, he said yesterday at the press conference, he called a defensive play.
But it's
You
not
didn't
genuine.
call a defensive play?
It's not genuine, though. When you have
Why
a guy
is it not genuine?
I'll tell you why, because you know he's not falling on some fucking sword for the defensive.
No,
You really
no.
think he play called that for Vic Fangio, that he intervened? No way.
Sills, who's been under the most fire from the media, the local media, the national media, and the fan base since the year started? Who?
It's Nick.
It's Nick by a country mile.
But just because you say that shit doesn't mean it's genuine. You
Yeah,
think that guy's a genuine
There's
guy?
a way to handle. All we know is the public perception.
Do you
I don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Do you know the most genuine thing that he did on Sunday was actually screaming at the fans? That was the most genuine thing he did, because it wasn't, dude, that's what emotion is. Not a contrived press conference where you're being forced to get up there and fucking say something. That's the owner wanted him to do that. That was genuine.
Yeah, but he's publicly falling on the sword is what I'm talking about. You're talking about inside. I don't know what's happening.
You're talking about scapegoat again.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the public perception of everything
You're
around
falling
the
on
team.
all the swords. You're a scapegoat.
Well, isn't that what a head coach is? Isn't that what a leader is?
Well, how many are you going to continue to do here? First we had Desai, now we had Brian Johnson, now we have Nick. I mean, my God almighty. It's an ever-ending conveyor belt of excuses making.
All I'm saying is I'm seeing consistency with him getting up there and taking the sword for everything. The 3rd and 1 call, the only shitty offensive call of the day that would have been criticized. Oh, I made that call. Did he? I don't know if he did or not. But I can respect him falling on the sword for Kellen and Jalen on it. Can't you? Can you understand why he would do that?
Audible out of the last play of the game? My take was he didn't want those two guys to have to say in the game.
Yeah, but Jalen wants to be respected like a star quarterback, and that's what that is. Doesn't matter. You could have Andy Reid, you could have Bill Belichick. When you have a superstar quarterback and you want him to feel like a superstar quarterback, he has that autonomy. I don't view that as much of a slight on Nick as you. I think it's great that Jalen did it. I have no problem. I like your perspective of I'm good with Jalen and AJ saying, I'll take this in my hands. I'm good with that, but I don't view it as a negative on the coaching staff. I just view it as putting trust in the player that you paid, that is the leader of the franchise, that's marched out there every week as a star quarterback, putting that decision on him and allowing him to make it might give him a sense of confidence and swagger that he never had before when Jason Kelce was here and he didn't have those decision-making autonomy.
All the super chats will be read. I promise you. Please hit the like button. Okay, so let me ask you this flat out then. Let me ask you this then. You think Jalen Hurts and the players trust the coaches to make decision-making with 2 minutes left in the game, especially offensively? Do you think they trust that coaching staff? Do you think Jalen Hurts, when you got Lane Johnson saying their offense is constipated, do you think that those players believe in that coaching staff with 2 minutes left in the game?
I think that's a fair question, and it's fair to say that they might not. You know, you heard Lane's quote. Lane will give it to you straight. I mean, Lane tells you. And I think they're all smart people. They know how much talent is assembled on this team. They know they're not living up to their standard as an offense. I mean, we've scored over 25 points one time, guys. We have 34 points, and the rest were, I mean, what did we have yesterday? 20. We had a 15, an 18, and I think a 21 or a 22 versus the Falcons or whatever it was. I mean, we're not living up to our standard offensively. Let's call a spade a spade. I think the players know that. I also think the players probably don't put that all on Nick, right? I mean, if I'm a great player, I would say I got to be better, you know, and I think they're smart enough to know that. But to answer your question, maybe they don't. I will tell you this. They don't show it publicly. They all came out and support. I thought I'm not the biggest CJ Gardner-Johnson guy in the world. I will say that. I'm not a huge fan of his attitude when you don't back it up with great play on the field. You see here, I thought his answer to Nick Sirianni was great. I mean, just as a team, right? Like we're fans, we're on the outside. We can say whatever we want. We can believe whatever we want. At the end of the day, Sills, the only thing that matters is the dudes inside the locker room and the coaching staff inside the locker room. That's it. Everything we say on here is a reaction to what they do. If they handle business, if they're bought in, that means it's good. Now, it might not work. That doesn't mean it's going to work.
You think they're bought in?
We don't have to be bought in. Those are the dudes that have to be
You
bought
think
in.
they're bought in by the way they're
Right
playing?
now, I'll say, and maybe I'm delusional. Maybe I have eagle glasses on. I don't feel like I do because I'm still critical on the team, and I think they're underperforming.
You
But
think their play is they're bought in?
I believe right now they're bought in. I believe they've switched.
Based on what?
Because I think it's gotten to a point now where they see Nick as has become the villain, and they understand that. Jalen's been in that circumstance before. He's been in that going back to college when he was 19 years old. They know that. These dudes know that. CJ Gardner-Johnson said it. He said, you guys have no idea how much shit that coach takes on a daily basis. Now, right or wrong, the shit, right or wrong. So that creates a rallying call.
Are you looking for me to feel sorry for the guy?
I'm not looking for you to feel sorry for him. I'm explaining to you why I believe the players are rallying behind him, even if he's not performing up to level. You understand it? It's a villain.
Oh, so wait. Philly 500 just brought a good point up. All those things you said are right. How come they're not responding when it comes to the results of the games?
Well, that's a fair question. And quite frankly, I don't have an answer for it. John McMullen says execution. You say coaching in both. I think it's right in the middle. I mean, I think it's got to be some on the coaching. I'm not looking to skate Nick off the hook. Has he been a great head coach the last 22 games? No, he hasn't. And I'm not going to let him off the hook for that.
I think when things are great, he's great. I think when things are bad, he's awful. I think
he's partly a bozo. I'm just saying from the perspective of responding to him with the crowd and then talking about how the locker room is taught. I mean, look, go watch the video. Brandon Graham, one of the greatest Eagles of all time who just played in his 200th game, is looking at that and is cracking up. And his quote after the game was, I want to see 22 Nick back. Nobody knows the Philly fans better than me. I lived through it. The best thing you can do is be yourself and make them eat their words. It's clear that the players told Nick, come out and be yourself again. Jalen said it. BG said it. CJ Gardner-Johnson backed him up. And this was the first week he's acting like an emotional idiot again.
Okay, so he's an emotional idiot and his team played up and down against a shitty team. So that's what you're looking for out of your coach? Acting like an asshole on the side. Not saying you. Acting like an asshole on the sidelines and having your team half prepared?
Is having a team half prepared? Should that be more on players as well, though? I mean,
I'm not excusing them, but wait a minute. I'm going to show you something here. What you said to me last Friday. People are looking at them going like this. Well, and this is where you talk about the preparation. Well, shit, the Browns, you told me, average like 18 points a game. Well, they got 16. Yeah. Okay, they average like 251. They average like 251 total yards a game. Well, they had 244. They average about 157 yards pass per game. Well, they had 144. They actually did better running the ball. Dude, you said it in the pregame and postgame. They played down to their competition.
Oh, they did.
The Browns were who they were.
See, this
didn't do anything special, Xander, on defense against
this is a different conversation, in my opinion, than reacting to the antics of Nick Sirianni. Because you asked me, is the team bought in?
That's part of preparing.
Well, not really.
What was he preparing? What, being 22, Nick, acting like an asshole? Or more concerned about getting his team ready and having his team focused and prepared to play and kill a team that you should win by at least 14 points?
Well, let's just run through the game then real quick. Jalen Hurts outside of the first 5 plays, which you're right. The first quarter thing has to be fixed. They've all addressed it. It has to be fixed, and that does come down to coaching as well. No doubt. After Jalen Hurts started 0-5, he was 16-20 for 230 and change yards and 2 touchdowns. That's efficient offense. You take out the special teams blunder, and this was a blowout game. The defense gave up 9 points. Not 16, 9.
It was a fourth quarter football game.
Partly because of that.
And the 3 and outs on offense. I'm going to make a point to you what you just said too about preparation. What is the most prepared on a football game plan that you have when it comes to preparing for a respected team on any given Sunday? You know what that is? The first 25 plays. You practice them all week. You script them out all week. You talk about them all week. How come in the first 5 games of the year for this team has had no offense when it comes to putting points on the board? They can't even kick a fucking field goal. This is the easiest part of your game plan is scripting those first 25, and yet they're not prepared to be a team to get rhythm. They were talking about starting fast. Well, guess what, Xander? Starting fast, 0 for 5. The easiest part of your game plan is the first 25 plays.
Yeah, and
in every 5
I'm not
games,
going to dispute that.
hey, all 5 games, they have been incompetent. Okay? Now, they've adjusted. Why? Because they've got better freaking talent. The talent is carrying them, not the coaching. Okay? That's when you go like this. Well, Jalen Hurts picked it up after the first 25. Once they got off the ineptitude of the coaching and the inadequacies of the coach's game plan, they got off it. They went pretty much off script, and they started going and doing what they do better. Do you understand? The first 25 plays shows me what kind of coaching staff you are. Once you get out of that, then it comes down to players making plays.
Yeah.
Dude, when you watch Baltimore play, Baltimore's the best team in the league right now.
Yeah, they're red hot.
They are killing teams.
Took them a couple weeks to figure it out, but once they got – now, look, you're right. I mean, look, and my point with Nick Sirianni isn't as much that I'm saying he's a good coach. I'm saying I think there's a gross overreaction to this being some sort of indication on who he is. We know who Nick is. We know who he is.
But
the people that think he's tough as a coach.
But it's the continuing of watch this. Okay, watch this. How does this look? You're shaving the head. You're fucking you're shaving the head like you're some sort of like skinhead.
Wait.
Like you're a skinhead. Look at this guy. He looks like a skinhead that was in that Apple commercial. I mean, look at it for Steve Jobs. Look at this guy. This guy looks like he belongs on a roof.
Nick is losing it.
Look,
it ain't easy to coach. We talked about it last week. It's like being a president. You age like 32 years and 4 when you're the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles.
I mean, I could swear I saw this guy at a post office as number 6 man most wanted. Look at this. Then he starts doing that shit on the sidelines. And get this. Then he starts with that. Then they have that video of him like talking like he's Newt Rockney. And then he's swearing and talking shit to I mean, Xander, it's just a litany of shit. That this guy, it's not a one-of. This is like I mean, I don't know how you're defending this guy. I just don't.
Because you know why? Because I listened to every show today, and I haven't stopped since
He was going to say dickheads like me. Go ahead.
No, not dickheads like you. Because if I wanted to say that, I would have just said it. But
wait, you would at least say that, but he can't be.
Well, no, I listen to shows all day now on YouTube, on TV, and I'm like, all right, I'm fucking done with everybody trashing the Philadelphia Eagles. I can't listen to this shit anymore. And also, it's not like they're trashing poor play. It's not like they're trashing the first 5 game play calls. It's not like they're trashing the first quarter numbers. They're trashing Nick going like this to the fans. I mean, that's petty. It's stupid. I'm over it. I listened to 5 shows and I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm turning it off.
Oh my God.
It's the least of our worries, and it's true. It's the least of our worries. Nick Sirianni acting like a numbnut.
It should be the least of his too. That's counterproductive.
He got to pick and choose his moments better, no doubt about that. But you won the game yesterday. You got back in the win column, and there were certain things in that game you can build on. No turnovers from Jalen Hurts. Defensive line showed signs of life. Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell look like your best 2 defensive draft picks in years. They look good. AJ and Devontae are back, and they're still clearly the same guy.
What's the other thing that was really evident? Vic Fangio was aggressive play calling wise on defense.
Well, did he do that because the Browns defense? You're right, but it's something you can. I'm trying to look at the game now, and I can build on that. Was it perfect? Hell no. Is that going to be
Mr. Op?
I'm really not even being Mr. Optimistic because I still have more doubts on this team than probably 90% of the people in the chat. But I'm trying to view this game past the lens of it's almost an insult to my own intelligence to sit up here and cry about Nick chirping back at fans who have been chanting to fire him for 12 weeks. Okay, he chirped back. Who cares? Well,
so
here's where I like where you went. You said, okay, well, the coaching performance wasn't good. Fair. Good. I agree. That is fair. But talking about him chirping at fans, I don't give a shit. I really don't. I really don't, dude.
So what and how he presents himself and how he represents that
I
team
think
and
I'm used to it.
being the leader of that team and having to be a leader. You told me this. You got to pick your moments better. You got to understand who you are. You can't. Didn't you say that about Slay and Avonte Maddox? You have to pick your moments better. Well, fuck, man. Does the head coach have to pick his moments better than a player? I mean, the player, you kind of get it a little bit because they're supposed to be emotional. Your head coach is not supposed to have these massive swings like he's bipolar. Nick Sirianni acts like he's bipolar, dude. 1 minute he's like a love guy. The next minute he's telling you to go fuck yourself. That's bipolar. I mean, do you want a bipolar head coach? I mean, that one day you walk in, you know that guy. You walk in and you go to work and that guy's a complete asshole. The next day he's great. And you're like, what guy's going to be here today? Those are the worst people. I love the Tony Dungy guy. And I like the Belichick kind of guy. And I like the Tomlin kind of guy that does this. I'm this, and I'm going to be this. I'm not getting too high. I'm not getting too low.
Yeah, but to expect that,
his emotional swings are too high to be a head coach.
Yeah, but to expect that from Nick is a losing expectation. We know who he is.
You got the wrong guy running your team. I'll tell you what. Would you want that guy as your captain on a boat?
No.
If you didn't know where the fuck you were going?
No, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I'm not saying that.
Would you want him as your pilot, flying you around the country? If that bad weather comes, this guy's ditching. Holy cow, man. I don't trust that mentality. That's maybe my point right there.
It's a little too emotional for me. That's my biggest issue with it. It's too emotional for me as the leader of a franchise.
I think that's why Jalen changed that play at the end of the game, man. I think that he has problems with that emotional mentality that they have and he has. Hey, Xander, we just saw it. Okay, and I think you're right, but I'm also going to make a point why I think that affects his play calling. If you could get that emotional over somebody having a chant and starting a chant on Fire Nick, how emotional do you think he gets with 2 minutes left in the game when he's got to make a decision to throw the ball to Barkley or run the ball? How emotional do you think that is? If he can't control himself with the fans, how is he controlling that narrative of winning a game and making the right decision when pressure's needed the most? Dude, you can't turn that on and off. You've got to be level-headed and cool when you're out there at all times.
No, you're right about this, but here's what I'll say. This isn't new line of thinking for me. Right? Like I've questioned Nick's emotional intelligence from the start. I've questioned what you just said from the start. Him chanting at the fans didn't change that for me. I'm not saying you're wrong. I think you're actually right on it. And to be honest, if I had to put a bet on whether Nick Sirianni is making it past a year, I would say no. I think he's going to get fired. But I'm just more speaking about where we are right now and with the reaction to this. The team bought in right now. At least it appears to me that they're bought in. Maybe I'm dead wrong on that. There's things to build on from a football perspective in this game. There's plenty to clean up. He got back in the win column. All right. I mean, shit. I'm done with the dumbed down, national shows saying, oh, Nick Sirianni's the biggest clown. Like, okay, Colin Coward, I've heard it like 44 times in the last 60 days from you. I get it.
How do you think the first 5 weeks have gone?
Underwhelming, and they've underperformed to what they should be as a football team. I think that's fair to say. And I think even the biggest Eagle fan, Philly 500 is in the chat, number one Eagle fan in the world, baby, Philly 500. I'm sure he would tell you he's underwhelmed. You barely squeak by the Browns. Your offense doesn't. Now, you can also look at it from the other side. All right, we missed A.J. Brown for 3 games. Lane Johnson was missing for a game. Devontae Smith got hurt. We had a little bit of an injury bug
and
early.
The Bucks are better than we thought.
I'll tell you what's not going to be good. Nick did speak about Mailata. He didn't give an update on Slay or Goddard, but he said, and he used the phrase, at least a couple games. I don't think he meant couple as in 2. I think he was saying a period of time here. So we're going to see what's good to Mailata.
It's going to be a good month before you start to see him because I saw him on crutches and I saw him in a sleeve. And I saw the way he was walking. It looked like that could be a tear off the bone a little bit here. Xander, that could be a year ender. So, I mean, remember.
I'm worried about that.
That is
I don't know about year ender, but year ender would mean he had to rupture his hamstring.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to explode that motherfucker.
That's not just some hamstring. By the way, all super chats will be read. We we swear. Also, too, please hit the like button here. All right. Hurts' performance. What was your takeaway?
I was intrigued. I don't think he
I
showed
like that
anything.
word. Let me put that down. Intrigued. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't move the needle on where I am on him as a player. Like, I think you said it best. That doesn't happen in one game, right? That happens in a collection of games over time where you show signs of progress and development in multiple areas. That's not going to happen in one football game. I'm intrigued by the no turnovers, the cleaner play. I'm intrigued by the completion percentage. I'm intrigued by the how he handled the blitz, and that's a bigger sample size now. All 5 games, I think he's handled the blitz pretty well, especially when you compare it to how he looked last year. The things I'm still concerned about are I still don't see him reading the field like you want a quarterback to read the field. I see him, and this is going to be mass now with AJ and Devontae back. He just has so much faith in those guys. He almost doesn't have to read it, right? Once he identifies it's single coverage or man coverage on AJ or Devontae, that ball's going to them. For
But it
better
becomes
or for worse.
predictable.
Now, AJ Brown's good enough to get away with it, right? The touchdown pass was somewhat of an underthrown ball. Still looked good because AJ Brown adjusted, made the perfect throw. The end of the game pass, I mean, if you don't have AJ Brown out there, you could go, man, what a dumb decision there by the quarterback to make that pass. You have AJ Brown, he bails you out. There's still a lot of things he has to get a lot better at as a quarterback. I'm not convinced he's ever going to get better at them. I think this is who he is. But if he plays like, here's the thing.
Remember I said,
Because, let me finish that. There's a large portion of people who are completely out on Jalen Hurts, and I understand it, right? If Jalen plays like that, turnover-free football, get the ball in the hands of your playmakers, our offense is good enough to win games and potentially get back to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying yet that it's good enough to win. I don't know that to be true. But if he limits the turnovers, limits the mistakes on his end, doesn't put the ball in harm's way, and finds the playmakers, that's a good recipe. I mean, we're not asking him to be an elite quarterback. We're not asking him to play like the $50 million price tag he has, but I'm asking him to do that, and he did that yesterday and at least made big strides in doing it yesterday. And that would be my most positive takeaway from Hurts. But like I said, I think there's still a lot for him to work on and to prove over the next couple of weeks. Turnovers being number one. You got to do that multiple games. It can't just be a one-off.
You're right, but here's why he's limited. Now, I saw something for the first time, though, that maybe may change that narrative. I told you guys if they throw the ball 25 times and run the ball over 35 times, you'd win this ball game. And that's pretty much what he did. He was effective in throwing the ball. It became a little too predictable, but the Browns had so many injuries in the secondary that was not going to be an issue. And that's why Schwartz had to start bringing pressure and why Schwartz had to start. And I thought that the Browns D-line did a nice job at stifling the run and putting the ball in Hurts' hands to have to make them win. But here's where he's been limited in his career when it comes to trying to win a Super Bowl or to be a consistent championship quarterback, which he's not right now. And he never has been except for 1 year. And that is this. He took the onus on himself, that final play, to say, I'm going to win this. I'm going to end the clock. They have no timeouts left. I'm doing this. The great quarterbacks, Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Andy Reid said that Mahomes changed the play 5 times in the overtime to bring that thing home because he saw the vision of the game. That's the first time. Now, maybe this goes back to what Jason Kelce said at the beginning of the year. There's more responsibility for the kid, and he's learning that responsibility on what it means, and that was a sign for me. That's why I told you, Xander, if he threw a pick down there, at least I'm fucking losing with the guy. You say this every single week. You know what that is? You say we're going to go as far as that quarterback's going to carry us. We are not going to go as far as Kellen Moore carries us. We are not going to go as far as Nick Sirianni. We're going to go as far as that dude right there in his decision-making. Now, when you take that into your own game plan and your vision of how you're seeing the game, that's growth. That's a quarterback that's going, nah, I don't think that, man. Let's check out of that and let's end this bitch. Let's not take any chances.
All right.
A.J. Brown is going to out-jump that guy. You know why? Because A.J.'s the second best player on the field, and that's exactly what he did. and I loved it. I thought that was the first sign I actually saw on the field leadership by the quarterback.
Yeah. Look, I liked it too. I think we did name some positive things there that he did yesterday. There's no doubt, though, Sileo. I mean, he has his
The overthrows, the underthrows, the like.
He has deficiencies as a quarterback. Every quarterback has their set of them. Jalen does have some that are glaring that some people will never get past. I'm not denying that they exist. I understand that they exist, but what you saw yesterday is a version of Jalen Hurts that is much more conducive to winning than the one in the last 11 games was, or 9 games when he had 9 straight games of
That's his
turnovers.
ceiling, though. That's his ceiling.
Yeah, and that's a fear. That's a fear of mine. That's a fair.
But that's good
I don't
enough.
want to say that's his ceiling, but that style is his ceiling.
That's right. How about this? In that room with 260 to 270 and 35 yards rushing with touchdowns and moving the sticks, that's who he is. Dude, it's 6 years in the league. This is who he fucking is. You know, Tom Brady, dude, the only thing he got better at was reading defenses.
But why can't Jalen get better at that?
He will. We're talking about a guy's 4 year. Tom Brady.
But here's my question.
Some guys are just better at that, though, Xander.
I know, and I get that. I get that, and I really do.
It quicker.
But if Jalen gets marginally better at that, won't that naturally improve some of the other things that we like?
It will.
You know, there's a viral tweet going around, and I think it's our great friend.
But when you keep changing coaches out year in and year out, that process becomes 1% incremental improvements. Whereas in Kansas City, it's 5 to 10 because he has one guy, one voice, one system, nothing's changing.
Right. Makes your life a lot easier. Yeah, makes your life a lot easier as a quarterback, no doubt about that. You know, and there's a big viral tweet going around. I think it's our great friend Thomas Mott. Big shout out to Thomas. He was on Birds 365 last week. Does a great job on YouTube. But he put up a chart of the route that A.J. Brown ran from like this year to last year, and they're very similar. And that's, you know, many are like, oh, it's not Kellen Moore's offense. And my question remains, and I said this last week, is it Kellen that's calling the same offense as Nick, or is that just the offense that Jalen Hurts needs you to call? Right? Because A.J. Brown's not cutting over the middle of the field. Why? Is it 2 straight coordinators and multiple offenses that's happening? Or is that because Jalen's not finding him over the middle, so they're putting him on go routes where they're going to use him? I don't know. I mean, I think it's a fair question, and that's where I think you'll want to see more development from Jalen, and maybe he never will. But even if he gets marginally better at reading defenses, Big Sills, wouldn't that lead to him being better at some of those things?
More accurate.
Right.
And by the way, Forrest Hill brings a great point up. Dude, still, what was the number one glaring thing again? Is going across the he does
they don't go
going across the middle.
Right about this. I mean, and you pointed it out, right? Because I'm like, oh well, at least he threw over the middle back in week 1, and you're like, yeah, and he had 2 picks.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why the turnovers are get this. And here's the problem that I had a little bit with the game, though. Now, this is technical, Xander. That was a problem that I had. So AJ and Devontae get back. They brought motion back. Dude, if I'm a coordinator, so when those guys aren't on the field, they're not going to run motion. Motion is going to be a decoy if they do. Dude, he's so comfortable with those 2 guys, and I get it. I totally get it. But when those guys aren't on the field, man, the entire mentality of the offense, motion, who you're going to, even the routes are different. The whole thing is just different when you don't have those pieces around him. This is why he can't carry a team. Dude, it shouldn't matter. I'm not saying you're going to have the same results if AJ versus Bob J or BJ is out there running. It doesn't matter. I get it. But, dude, you can't look that lost when you have a different guy in there. It's got to be the same offense, and you got to execute the same style of play. He can't do that. He becomes predictable, just like Brian's saying here. They're going to catch up in 2 weeks on this whole thing here again. They're going to catch up on him. Xander, right here, man, right here.
It's a fair concern, no doubt. You know, and I appreciate the perspective. I think it is good, and you know, Jalen's got a long way to go. There's no doubt about that. I'm not saying that he doesn't have his issues. Like you always say,
that was a good step forward.
If I was drafting a quarterback, I wouldn't draft Jalen Hurts. That's not my pick, type of a dude. But he's who we got right now, and what he showed yesterday was better than what he showed in what.
It was a good step forward.
Yeah,
Okay, yes, sir. Let's get to the super chats because we
Yeah,
got
'cause we
Angelo Cataldi at the bottom of the hour here.
Yeah.
Good
Big
night.
shout out to 2 people who became a member today. Big shout. Thank you guys, man. Huge. When you
Thank
guys,
you.
yeah, keep evolving. Thank you for that. And I think we had one more. Andrew Zink. Andrew, thank you, brother. Appreciate both of you guys for becoming a member. That's big stuff there. Did we get Knicks? We did, I think, right?
Keep saying Eagles should trade for
No, I
Amari
don't want that, dude.
Cooper.
What the fuck? What Nick,
Absolutely
why the
not.
hell would you want Amari Cooper? What
No
does he add
interest
to
in
this
that.
football team? Nothing. I'll pass on
Absolutely
that.
no interest in that.
Jason A-Team says, do you think Lurie is copying Jerry Jones, keeping Eagles front page media? It's starting to seem like it.
I don't believe that. I think that they have more cognizant people of understanding that the football is important, that Jerry is get this. Here,
Well,
Jason, wait a minute. He's an 82-year-old man as general manager.
But Sills, it's hard to think about how much drama's followed this team in the last 8 months specifically.
Well, he is a movie producer. I don't
think
know.
about it, right? Like, is that a coincidence?
Nope.
I mean, think about it. They were
this, Jason. I'm hoping that's not the case, drama. Baby. I'm hoping more so that that's not the case.
Yeah,
that he likes the fact that the Eagle, dude. I can't turn the show on right now that Nick Sirianni's not the punchline of something.
Yeah, seriously. I told you that's why I came on and was like, I'm fucking done with this Nick shit. It's stupid. Brian's not gonna like me today. I knew it. He said, "Oh no, I see the twinkle in Xander's eyes. 14-3 is back." No, pumper. Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, what have you done to my precious team? Why? Brian is seeing. He says he sees a twinkle in my eye. I don't know about that, Brian. Look, I thought there were some positives to take from the game yesterday. I really do. I thought there were some positives that have been completely. Now there were some negatives as well. Which were masked as well by Nick Sirianni. But
yeah, you played down the competition.
Brian, I'll always give it to you as straight as I can, brother. I'll always give it to you my truthful, honest opinion. If it's ripping the team and Jalen, that's what I'll do. If it's not, I won't do it.
For Angie, man.
Angelo coming up 10, 12 minutes. We don't like Nick because he's fraudulent and not honest, even with his good deeds, taking heat for the team. It's just a clown show. Look, it's fair. You're allowed to believe that. I think honestly, most of that assessment's pretty fair.
I do too. I mean, yeah. I don't believe the most genuine part, Jason, like I said, was him screaming at the fans. Hey, fuck you. Stop those chants. Hey, you imagine telling people, wait, dude, honest to God, as a kid growing up, being around the league, being in the league, telling Philly fans to go fuck themselves. I can't believe that guy, the only reason he got out of that stadium alive is because he was the head coach of the Eagles. Yeah, because if any other coach had done, can you imagine a coach going in there and dude, they were throwing batteries at Michael Irvin. Okay.
There is a part of me that's like, yeah, we booed Santa Claus. What makes you think you're better than Santa Claus? You're going to get booed, dude, if you stink. I mean,
dude, you're lucky you're the head coach of that place. So they would have killed your ass.
I'll also, and Jason, thanks for the super. All I'll say back is be prepared. Sileo, you included. There's a pendulum turning, and Big Sills knows this. When you become a villain and you have nothing to lose, and then you start to embrace that, that's when people go, hey, man, I can get behind that guy. In a way, if Nick forges his way through this fire, it could make him a better leader of the men inside the locker room. That doesn't mean he's going to be a good coach. That doesn't mean he's not going to get fired. I'm saying the dudes in the locker room.
You're going to galvanize people in the room.
Exactly. That's how it works, and he's fully embraced that villain mode.
But the winning will the winning
right. You gotta win. Yeah,
gotta win. If you're gonna play that role, Xander, you gotta win.
Yep, like you always, you gotta be good, right? I mean,
yeah. Hey,
you want to play that role? But he's a great broadcaster. So
hey, you want to play that role? You better be good.
Yeah, Prince says Stills is right. This team wasn't prepared for the Buck game. It's clear they weren't prepared for this one either. He has a point, FML. Yeah, I mean, he does have a point. I think that's a bigger point than Nick Sirianni crying at fans.
And there's Prince. Prince agrees with probably 20% of my shit.
He was waiting for me to come in, and then he started saying, shit, I don't agree with Xander today. Fuck, I got to agree with Sileo.
Hey, unbelievable.
Come on, we got to roll, bro. I got 8 minutes before Angelo's up here.
Yeah,
Says it's coaching, not preparing them for games. Chiefs linemen are doing Pilates to keep them healthy. Effort in games from players is what we can go off. That's fair, but I'm not going to go to Chiefs. You're doing Pilates, Abe, as some sort of a catalyst for whether the Eagles are bought in. Come on, Abe. Abe, you're better than that shit. Pilates.
Pilates. Come on, Abe.
Looks like his mugshot. Keep evolving, becomes a member. Appreciate it. Jarrell, $20. Villain Sirianni, baby. Let's go. Jarrell is a little further than I am. I'll say that.
Hey, look at Jarrell, man.
He's like trucker.
He's a little bit embarrassed though about his coach.
Jarrell just wants. Yeah, Jarrell. Hey, look, he's an Eagle fan. I love it. Appreciate you, Jarrell.
Whoever defends this head coach needs to put in a padded room with all this crazy talk. Yeah, you go there, Xander.
Polska's sending me to a padded room. Polska, you want to go in the padded room and spar up, brother? I'll go. Let's go.
Dude, the coach is bipolar. The coach is bipolar.
I'm not denying that. Brian says we have a lack of leadership between the quarterback and head coach. The head coach is the team goofy, and the QB is the mute. No one with the C is leading us to war, not even BJ.
Wow.
That's a fair criticism, I guess you could say there. Brian checks in again. Jags making trades. I'm intrigued. What can we get? Brian, you got to be kidding me. You've been dropping supers all day, all month long about how much you're out on this team. And now somebody said, oh, hey, some people on the trade market. And
hey, I'll take some of them.
Brian, he's eating that shit up like it's chicken dinner, baby.
Brian, I was wrong. Doug ain't making it. Ain't making it.
No, Doug's getting fired. Yeah. And he should, honestly. I love him, but he should.
Hey,
you can't ever see that down bad like that. You can't.
And Trevor Lawrence looks completely lost, man. I mean, I thought that was going to be better than the
Ryan. I'll take him too. Josh Allen, the edge rusher.
Oh yeah,
that motherfucker.
Oh yeah. And they just gave him 25.
Yeah,
they just gave him 25 annually too. I'll take that.
Better than Bryce Hufflepuff, that's for sure.
Okay, absolutely.
One more super chat. I'll get out of here. Abe says you should watch Michael Irvin video about Dallas. Ooh.
Oh yeah, he's
out. Quick, we got to comment on them, dude. Boy, maybe that might be the reason I came in optimistic. Hey, I'm watching that Eagle game like, this isn't great. I mean, I don't feel inspired. And then I turn on the Cowboys. 47-9.
Did you see them throwing passes with 2 minutes left in the game to Penei Sewell? They were fucking with the Cowboys. It was, dude, that roster versus the Cowboy roster, it is not in the same area code. They're nowhere near the Detroit Lions.
No, that
the lack of talent.
They lost Hutchinson, though.
Dude, the Lions and the Ravens right now are playing the best football. That could change in a week. We all know that.
I mean, look, they lose Hutchinson yesterday. That's a big
massive loss.
Yeah, it's so true in the NFL, though, isn't it, man? You really got to take it week to week. Like, we came back, we're like, everybody's healthy again. Now we might be out Jordan Mailata and Dallas Goedert for a few weeks. Like, it's a week to week.
New Orleans,
huh?
But the Bucs destroying New Orleans, putting 51 on them.
The Bucs are good
in New Orleans.
Well, remember they had Spencer Rattler playing the Saints and everything. So I'm not gonna. But the Bucs look good, especially offensively. Baker Mayfield deserves a lot of credit. But we got all the super chats. Another big thank you to the members. Keep evolving and Andrew Zink, guys. If you want to support the channel, it's one of the best ways to do it. Is becoming a member. So can't thank you both enough for doing that today.
Absolutely. Xander, great stuff. We will catch you on Birds 365 tomorrow morning. Tell John. Must be really intriguing covering that guy, man. Mr. Bipolar.
So you got to send Nick Sirianni a text tonight and record your classic. I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. Because that's Nick now, baby. He's right there with Big Sills. He's the bad guy now.
Hey, he is. He's the bad guy now. Xander, I appreciate it. We'll catch you tomorrow morning.
Wait, look at 500. He's ready to rip homes on
Wednesday. It Wednesday yet?
Philly, love you, brother. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate all you guys.
Philly, Angelo's coming up next. Xander, thank you so much. Guys, Angelo Cataldi on the other side. We will get his take on this. You better buckle up because I got a feeling this thing's going to be a little rough here. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Appreciate you coming aboard here. We cover everything, as you know. Before I bring in Angelo Cataldi, can we do one last thing before we bring Angelo on? Can we show the picture of Travis Bickle from the movie Taxi one more time? There he is. Look at him right there. That's the guy that was stalking Jodie Foster right there. Look at this guy here. Then he has the audacity to tell the Eagle fans to go after themselves. Hey, that's probably talking to Michael Irvin this morning. He's like, hey, Sills, did really the head coach? I go, hey, Mike, I know they threw batteries at you and all when you were injured, almost broke your neck. But the coach, the only reason I think he got out of South Philly was because, well, he's a Paisan and he's the head coach of the Eagles. Other than that, how in the world? That would have made a great chapter for Angelo. And how, oh my God, can you imagine Angelo Cataldi in the morning at WIP? This is why we're grateful to have him here. When that guy did that, that team was not prepared to play. By the way, the Browns were who they were. They averaged 16 points a game, 18 points a game. That's kind of what they were. They weren't ready. And what they're worried about now is this guy's a punchline across the country now. He should be fired. He's a cancer. It's the same team as 23. Okay, enough of my crap. You've heard me already. Here it is. Okay? By the way, I want to know how to get under someone's skin. Page 91. You want to do it again? Okay? 155. Finally a championship. Okay? And hey, guess what? He talks about a championship, and then Nick doesn't want to do the final day that he's there. Well, he's here now with us. Legend himself, Angelo Cataldi, joins us. Holy cow, Angelo.
Wow. I thought it was the best day of the season so far for the Eagles. Honestly, they won the game, which they had to do to remain relevant in Philadelphia. And the clown that coaches them took one giant step closer to the unemployment line. Let me tell you, you think that played well upstairs? How do you think that played with Lurie and Roseman?
You
think
tell
those
me.
guys were going, this is what we need. We need a guy who has basically failed the city for the last 12 games, and we need him to start lecturing the Philadelphia sports fans on negativity. Oh, yeah, that'll definitely stir up a good feeling in the city. The guy is persona non grata today. Welcome aboard, Philadelphia. I've been telling you for 3 years the guy's a fraud. Now you saw it perfectly for yourself right in front of everybody. There is nothing a man can do to commit career suicide in Philadelphia faster than tell the fans, don't boo us, even when we suck. Don't boo us. You're hurting our chance. No, you're not. You're not hurting squat. We have won championships after booing our teams. We are just testing the mettle of those teams and their coach. And he flunked. He couldn't have flunked worse.
Angelo, he apologized today. Do you believe that came from the
Yes.
owner?
Oh, yes. Well, I just followed the after the game, he wasn't apologizing. No, I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. He didn't apologize on my old show this morning. He didn't apologize then. Apologize later in the day. Gee, what could have changed this
fallout
to where he went from, no, it's just a fun day at the old ball orchard, to, oh, you know what? I let my passion get the better of me. Somebody talk to him. Of course. They called him in and went, Nick, didn't we talk about this after the season? Didn't we say we don't want this stuff on the sideline? Because Lurie's on the record. The owner of the team is on the record. I don't want this stuff. I think it becomes counterproductive. That was his quote. This guy then comes out with a new narrative after the bye week. Oh, my players talked to me, and they made me to look like a horse's ass on the sideline during the game. Well, let me tell you something. I believe Hurts might have told him that. You know why? It'll get rid of the coach faster, and he'll get a coach in that knows what he's doing. Oh, never has a team won a game and created a bigger hornet's nest than they have in Philadelphia with Nick Sirianni in his bizarre, ridiculous, self-defeating behavior.
How about this, Angelo? Tell me if you go down this line. I thought the moment of the game where I said that Jalen Hurts did not want that coach or that offensive coordinator or the organization or the analytics people to be involved in the final play of the game and in the final outcome of that game is when he audibled out of that last play, giving them no autonomy and letting AJ go up and make the play. To me, Angelo, I read it like this. I'm not giving you a chance to cost us a game. I'm not giving you a chance to screw up on an offensive play or kicking field goals. We're going to end this now. And that was the first time I saw that quarterback do something like that. Do you agree he took it out of the hands of the coaching staff?
He had called that play before. I think it was in the Seattle game, and it didn't work. He has done that before. Oh, I don't think there's any question. He was saying, I'm going to put this game away right now by myself with my favorite target. And God bless him. That was a great pass and an even more spectacular catch. All right. But I was watching the game with two of the greatest Eagle fans alive, Arson Arnie and Eagle Shirley. They were both at my house watching the game. And when the ball left his hand, Arson Arnie jumps up, and he's not in great shape right now. He jumps up and he goes, no. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. But seriously, that would have given Cleveland another 40 seconds if that play had gone on incomplete. And with the Eagles defense, even against that awful Browns offense, pitiful Browns offense, I wouldn't have been sure the Eagles were going to hold on because they've blown games like that before.
Absolutely.
But without a doubt, that was Hurts Hurts wants nothing to do with Sirianni. Do you understand that? If that isn't clear to people, the body language, the what he's saying, read between the lines kind of thing. He can't stand the guy, but that's okay because now the whole city agrees with him. No one likes Sirianni in Philadelphia today. No one.
How about this, Angelo? Bob, somebody just posed this question. If that situation had played out at the vet versus the link, what is that environment? How would that that environment have changed with Sirianni acting like that at the vet versus the Lincoln Financial?
This is the irony of the situation that Sirianni is bitching about the atmosphere at the Link. He has no sense for what the atmosphere was like at Veterans Stadium. All right. The top level, the 700 level, was populated by many people who had either escaped from mental institutions or are en route there. Do you understand? I went up there early in my tenure at WIP, and I sat up there for a game, right? I saw fist fights. I saw a torch man, a guy with sparks flying out of his hands, doing insane stuff, booing and yelling and screaming. And that was during the win. He has no idea how soft people are today. They function. You said you had Michael Irvin out. Michael Irvin's career ended on the carpet at Veterans Stadium, and the people were cheering when he was down. They couldn't. The man was in agony. His great career over, and they're going, "Yeah, I don't want the field. You suck, Irvin." Yes, Sirianni has no idea. He was in grade school when that was happening, right? And now he's bitching because they booed him when it was 10-10 at the half.
They started a chant, "Fire Sirianni."
Yeah, they need to do that chant. That is Philadelphia sports fans using their freedom of speech to exercise their passion. And that man, the audacity, the sheer audacity for a hack like Nick Sirianni to tell these fans how to act is laughable. But it gives me great, great comfort in knowing this is his last year. Oh, no, this is his last year. As of today, he is now a lame duck in Philadelphia. He will be fired, if not before the end of the year. You made a good point. What a perfect week to do it. Just go, look, we gave him the bye. He came back. They weren't ready to play. They looked like snap. He acted like a fool on the sideline. He got into it with our fans. He tried to start a fight with one of the players on the Browns. He was a maniac. He was a nut. But the one thing he wasn't doing was coaching well. They were not well coached.
They were not prepared. They were not prepared at all. Do you think he survives the year?
Well, if he does that again and a loss, no. Because I know what I know this.
So do you think the owner and the GM are starting to separate themselves from this guy?
100%.
Wow.
They told him to apologize for what he did. That is bad for business. Telling Philadelphia sports fans when they can boo is bad for business. I did 33 years on the air here, and I never once saw a coach or a manager or a player, and many of them did it, who went out and did that and survived for very long afterwards. You don't make it here. You will be hated instantly. And then the lie about it. Danny lied.
How about to bring his kids?
No.
How about to bring his kids up there too, so you wouldn't ask questions?
He lied for 18 hours, and then he had to come out and apologize. He couldn't look like a bigger dummy, but he is a dummy. This is the message I've been trying to put on your child. He is not a smart man. He is not a good coach. He is not. He was propped up by Shane Steichen for 2 years. Through a series of miracles, they made it to the Super Bowl. And now you're seeing Nick Sirianni's influence on this organization. And it won't last a lot longer. Maybe the rest of the year. maybe a little earlier if they go bad, which is still very possible.
Have you ever seen a guy with a win get just crippled like this before in your life? Have you? I mean, Angelo, they stumbled around against the crappiest offensive football team. I mean, and they only. I told everyone, take the Browns and the points.
Right.
I go, they're not going to score a ton of points coming out of this because they're not going to be prepared. I don't care if AJ or Devontae are on the field. They're not going to be prepared coaching wise. I mean, I look at it. Have you ever seen a coach killed like this before after a win?
Look, the day I arrived in Philadelphia from little old Providence, Rhode Island, 1983. It's a true story, Dan. I get here. And I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm going to Philadelphia. I'm going to work at the Philadelphia Inquirer. And I walk into the office and I'm meeting with the assistant editor there, assistant sports editor. And all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. And they go, we're going to have to get back to you. We got a huge story. The Phillies just fired their manager. And I went, what? Pat Corrales? They fired him? Wait a minute. Aren't the Phillies in first place? Yeah, they fired Pat Corrales as the manager of the Phillies when they were in first place in, it was, I would say June, maybe July. They fired. That was the day I got to Philly, and I went, all right, this is a hardcore town. Being in first place isn't enough. They fired, and I went, this city is not going to suffer fools. Now, they suffer a lot more fools now than they did in the mid-'80s, all right? But this guy's next level fool. This guy is such a babbling moron that there's not a way in earth he's going to survive beyond this season. What he did yesterday, he should have just doused himself in gasoline and lit a match. It would have been quicker.
Angelo, do you think this team is a Super Bowl contender?
Oh, hell no. Look.
I think it's going to get worse. I think it's getting worse.
On offense, they have the weapons to be a Super Bowl caliber team. They have two terrific wide receivers. They've got a quarterback, when coached properly, can take you there. He proved it 2 years ago. They've got now an elite running back who also is a good blocker in the backfield. They got burned once yesterday. But they have the ingredients there to still contend for that kind of thing. Defensively, I don't see it, even though they were able to stop the Browns. But the Browns are so bad, they stopped themselves.
Yeah, but Angelo, you know what? The Browns hit, I brought this up to everyone. I go, well, the Browns averaged 150 yards throwing the ball. They got 144. They averaged 16, 18 points. They got 16 points. It wasn't like that defense did anything special. I thought that was a game of fool's gold for the defense because the Browns are so incompetent.
The problem with the defense is they simply do not know how to get turnovers at all. And I'm watching other teams do it, and they're doing it great, right? The Ravens. I'm seeing teams punching the balls right out.
The Bucs.
God, the Bucs. They're just punching the ball. They're trained to get the turnovers. There's none of that in Philadelphia. There's none of it. There's the best player on the Eagles defense is 36 years old.
He is.
Brandon Graham. Let me tell you something. Take away the play. I went back and watched that play where he got the guy 5 yards behind the line. Huge play in the game. These guys are about to score and tie the game. And it's late in the game, and he sees something before the snap, and he points to the guy getting the ball. He goes, him. He's got him. Then they snap the ball. He goes right by and waits for the guy to come to him at the spot he knew he was going to be. He is a brilliant, smart defensive player, making up for the fact he's been doing it for 16 years by understanding what's happening before it's happened. He's the best player on defense.
How about this, Angelo? How about him getting his 200th game as an Eagle, too? Amazing. History of the franchise. No one's ever done that. His place, in your opinion, with the Eagles and all the great players that you've seen. I mean, 200 games, that is quite an accomplishment. I can't tell you how many players have played 200 games in the NFL, let alone for one team.
He is, and it was my privilege to get to talk to him for years We used to do it on Wednesdays or Tuesdays after every game. He's also an honest guy who has embraced the community. He's look, the minute he stripped Tom Brady in the Super Bowl 52, he became an icon in the town like very, very few will ever make. So he's already in every Hall of Fame this city's ever had, right? But what he's doing now, 6 years later, is incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I thought 2 years ago he didn't have very good numbers. It's probably enough. They brought him back because he's such a great ambassador, and he started playing better. He played better last year than he did 2 years ago, and he played even better so far this year than he has, and they needed it. There's no leadership there. Clark Cox is gone. Who's there? I mean, I guess the new safety, Barkley, who was there and left and came back, he's okay, but no, the best player on defense is Brandon Graham at 36.
Couple last questions here for you, Angelo. Angelo, I keep having people tell me this all the time. Stop bringing up 23. How come when I see 2024, it looks exactly like 23, and the only common denominator is the coach? How much play calling do you think that he is still involved with? Because to me, don't we see the same inconsistency at times out there when it comes to the play calling? I mean, to me, it just looks like Kellen Moore and Brian Johnson are the same guy. It's the same problems over and over. Am I overthinking that, or do you see it a little bit?
That's the most intriguing part of this right now, because this is the kind of weasel Nick Sirianni is, right? Now he's acknowledging plays he called that didn't work to throw people off the scent.
Even defensive plays.
Even defensive plays. So now he's pointing out, oh yeah, that play, that was mine. That play was mine. That was mine. I take responsibility for that. But you don't know. He is not giving you any sense for how involved he is. He's only occasionally pointing out a play call that went awry that was his. This is the problem. He has never had any respect for the fans. You understand? Those news conferences, they're a complete waste of time. The only thing he's doing in the news conferences is telling you what he thinks you want to hear. Never does he concern himself, but actually giving you any insight into what you saw. The design, the plan of having those news conferences is to explain to the fans what they saw, so they'll understand better why they did that play when they did it. Why did they kick the ball when they could have gone for it? That kind of stuff. He won't ever. I did 3 years with the guy. He will never give you the actual answer. He will answer the question that whatever he and the PR people think will put them in the best light. I prefer a Doug Peterson, although he's getting close to getting fired himself.
Right.
He answered the questions honestly. Every day for 5 years, he won a Super Bowl. And the Eagles showed their fans how important it was to be honest by cutting his throat when he wanted his own assistance. They don't care about honesty either. And that's the problem. But whatever he's doing, I'm going to assume now every awful play call is Sirianni's, because he told me they are. So I'll just assume it. Good. Get out of here quicker. The sooner you leave, the better, Nick. Nick, leave. Get out. I got a job for you. My little kids are going to need a clown at their next birthday party. I'll bring you in.
Yeah.
4 and 6. They're perfect for you.
Hey, Angelo, what will be the next sign that the owner and the GM are distancing themselves more? Well, because obviously you think that they probably have a system on how they do things and how they want perception. Well, will there be a sign that we'll see? Because the apology, I'm with you. I think that's the first step of them going like this. Hey, look here, guy. They're saying you need to stop this now, or guess what? This tidal wave is going to take you out to sea. Is there another one coming? Is there some other thing to look for?
Want a sign? I'll give you a perfect sign for 6 days from now. All right? They'll be up at the Meadowlands. See if he does the dog and pony show next week on the sideline. You want to bet he does it?
Oh,
You
there's no
want
way.
He's back to that the clamor from the players for him to be emotional and act like a jackass on the sideline. You think that's going to continue next
What if
week?
we lose up there?
He was told today to knock it off. Right? That's why he apologized. He won't be doing that next week up in the Meadowlands, and he won't be doing it the next time they play here. And if they lose in the Meadowlands, I don't know. The Giants are awful too. My God, talk about finding awful offense.
Angelo, the Browns are awful, and they
So
squeeze
bad.
out.
These teams are no gauge for what you're doing. Yes, I'll acknowledge now I was wrong with 5 wins. I didn't think all these teams that were on the schedule were this awful. I didn't think the Browns couldn't score a touchdown to save their life. The Giants are just as bad. They got 2 weeks where they have to worry about an offense. Those guys are brutal. Plus, Saquon's going back. You got that. You watch closely. Watch Sunday. The demeanor of the head coach of the Eagles on the sideline. He will be back like
Like
a
Tom
sphinx,
Landry.
like a sphinx. He may even wear a Stetson hat. He'll wear the hat. A stone face. He's not going to do that again. That's how you'll know that they're telling him basically, look, you're hanging by a string here. Don't pull stuff like that. And don't demean our Jeff Lurie's a billionaire because of these people. And yesterday, the coach told him, we don't want you to boo. It's hurting our team.
Do you think he's that direct? Do you think he's that direct, Angelo? Hey, don't do that. You're embarrassed.
He is. Because what they did to Doug Peterson on those Tuesdays, they had meetings every Tuesday with Doug Peterson, and they basically told him everything he did wrong. All right. They didn't wait till Tuesday this week. They brought that guy in right after he did his morning stop, and they said, Nick, stop, please. First of all, you're lucky you won. Second of all, don't be doing that. What's going on the sideline there? You made everybody look stupid. Don't do it. We don't need a coach who's out of control. That is not the way you're going to somehow summon up the passion of your team to win a game. It's so mind-numbingly ignorant. It shows you how little he has learned in 3+ seasons coaching in Philadelphia. He's learned nothing.
Or how he's so disconnected from the city.
And his bosses are disconnected. But he wasn't disconnected yesterday when they were screaming fire Nick and booing his team. See, all of a sudden he went, whoa, no, I better talk to them and stop them. Yeah, we'll listen to you, Nick, for sure. Whatever you say. Maybe you could send out an instruction manual on how the fans should behave in Philadelphia. We need your input.
Man, Angelo,
wow.
No shit. I'm with you. I was like, dude, I tell you this. I know this, man. That's a generational city that team. I mean, your father's father are passionate about that team. That's not a place, man. You could say that crap in Carolina. You're not doing that in a place like Buffalo, Philly, Boston, Pittsburgh. You're not doing that in those cities, man. Those people will hang you, man. That's not going to happen like that. And when I saw that, I'm like, that guy just doesn't get that city, man. And for the owners just to let that go 24 hours and then hearing him on WIP, you're like this, dude, please, it's cringy. It's Angelo, would you have shut him down?
No, listen, that is not fair. It took Lurie 24 hours to fix that because I think he was looking into another yacht. I think he's thinking about another yacht.
Angelo, last question for you here. I got to do this, and I've got to kind of drop a bunt on you. How disappointing was this Philly exit from the playoffs compared to the last 6 years? In your opinion, they win the East. They dethroned the Atlanta Braves. How disappointing was this? There was
the worst blow of this era of these really good teams they had.
Wow.
It was the worst. This was worse than the World Series because they made it to the World Series. It was worse than the NLCS last year, even though they blew the last 2 games at home. They didn't even get there this year. And but my disappointment right now is with the media in this town and even some of the fans. Rob Thompson took game 1 of that series and single-handedly blew it. He had a guy throwing a one-hitter who this was Zach Wheeler at his absolute best. He's never been better than he was that day. And he removed him after 7 innings, up 1-0.
Angelo, stop, Angelo. Watch this. I thought of McNamara pulling Clemens in the series in '86 against the Mets. The guy had a one-hitter going. I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, it just shows you stupidity covers many decades, because it was stupid. And nobody killed him for it. I wrote a blog post on it. I went on a couple of shows and yelled and screamed like a lunatic. The whole series was flushed in game 1. You will never get a better Wheeler. And Wheeler, and then he doesn't use him in game 4 because he's saving him for game 5. Well, at least he'll be really well rested for spring training next year. The guy is a terrible manager. We have Sirianni and Thompson, and they're both surviving in a city where normally you can't do this and survive. Let's all get together and make some noise, Philadelphia. They both need to leave. My car's warming up in the driveway. I'll drive him out of town. Oh,
Angelo,
Philly is what a stiff. Oh.
Hey, Angelo, Philadelphia is the only city that looks at your record as a non-starter for anything. You're only as good as the last series and the last game that you coach. Yes. They don't care about. I've learned that. Get this, like you said, Rob Thompson has a really good record. Sirianni has a really good record, but you look at it and go, they suck. They're not good.
No, let me just say, if Nick Sirianni, he's got a day off tomorrow, goes out to dinner tonight, walks into a local Philadelphia eatery, they'll boo the crap out of him. I know if I were there, I would lead the boo. I would start the boo.
Folks, make sure you get the book. The book is killing it. Also, it's on audio. The blog, tell the folks where you get it to also.
I got something I got to promote.
Oh, please.
It's next week, a documentary on the Wing Bowl. It's called No One Died, The Wing Bowl Story, is making its premiere at 1412 Chestnut Street. It's next
I've been to one.
You have. You should see this. This documentary is so great.
Tony Bruno invited me to a Wing Bowl, and I went to one at the Spectrum. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Yes.
I did it at the Spectrum.
Right.
There must have been 20,000 fans there.
Yes, there were.
We're at the
This
Spectrum.
is the story of it, how it started, how it ended, and all the crazy stuff in between. You can watch the premiere 8:45 next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, at 1412 Chestnut Street at 8:45 p.m. For more information, go to Philadelphia.org. Philadelphia.org, or you can get information at AngeloCataldi.com. It is such a great documentary.
Who started
it? It was done by 2 guys who had done a previous documentary called Billboard Boys. It's done by Frank Petra, and Pat Taggart is the director, and they are brilliant. And it is really awesome.
Who started the Wing Bowl?
Excuse me?
Who started the Wing Bowl?
Who started it? We did in 1992. It was the idea of Al Morganti, my co-host.
Yeah, sure.
And what ultimately happened was Al and Rhea Hughes could not participate in the documentary because WIP did not allow them to. And WIP is trying to distance themselves from the Wing Bowl. And I am trying through back channels to get them to change their mind about that.
Why would they not want to have and be part of such an iconic event like that? That was one of the benchmark events in the city for years, and for that station. I mean, you got 20,000 fans to go. I was there for that. I went there to that thing. Anybody in the East Coast knows the Wing Bowl.
Oh, I know it. It's just toward the end. It was known more for the girls taking their tops off and running around in thongs. Look at Dan right now. Dan seems
okay. Wait a minute. Wings, boobs, and girls. I'm trying to figure out beer, and I'm trying to figure out what we're going wrong and where we're going wrong here.
They didn't like the branding.
Okay. Hey, That's right, because Odyssey stock right now is trading at 2 cents. I forgot they're doing well. Hey,
It's a great documentary. Come see it. I'll be there next Tuesday night, 8:45, 1412 on Chestnut Street. You'll love it. Dan.
if there's a website, I'll post it on my Twitter page as well.
Okay.
I know that for whatever reason, I think your wife's the only one in your family that has social media over there on
Very true.
Instagram.
Very true. I'm waiting for the next computer to be invented. Then I might do it.
Angelo, thank you, my friend. I always appreciate it. You know how much I love you, man. Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, Sirianni, leave. Get out of here. See you later.
Angelo Cataldi, man. Make sure you guys please hit the like button. You didn't think I'd been to a wing bowl, huh? I've been to a wing bowl. Have you? I have. Yeah, okay, so the chicks were taking their tops off, and it was a lot of girls and beer and wings and fun in Philly. Whew. Snowflake Philly? That's Xander's new crowd, you know? I mean, beer, boobs, and wings. And I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with that. Sorry. I missed it. Hey, we're going to reset. Also, week 6 of the NFL concludes tonight. So we'll hit on that a little bit. I mean, senor, what could possibly be wrong with WIP wanting to associate with an event that they created? That was sensational. Dude, Wing Bowl was awesome. If you've never been, you missed out, because that was one of the great absolute events that you had in that city, man. And it all started because of the first sports talk radio station in America, WIP. Hit the like button. Keep it here. National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in,
Decisions,
the dark.
the dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Ben Sills, National Football Show. Please hit the like button. We appreciate you guys coming aboard. Thank you guys so much for doing it today. You guys have been great. Super chats all go to the top. We can't thank you guys enough for what you guys have brought to the table. We really thank you guys again for doing that. Hit the like button. Remember you guys told me that Derrick Henry was washed? You guys all told me Derrick Henry was washed. You said Barkley was better. Derrick Henry has nothing left. Nothing. Barkley's the man. Well, Derrick Henry right now is on pace for 2,000 rushing yards at 6 yards a carry. No, I said Barkley wasn't an impact player. And in the first 4 games, he was. He wasn't yesterday at all. Derrick Henry is a beast. He is a beast. He's on pace for 1,995 rushing yards. By the way, DeAndre Swift had a spectacular game against the Jags. Derrick Henry's washed. Derrick Henry looks refreshed. Derrick Henry looks better. And with him and Lamar Jackson looks like the best player in the league right now. Okay? Hey, yeah, I'm not saying I was wrong. I was right about Barkley because Saquon's been an absolute sensational sign for the Eagles too. But dude, I'm doing this more. Yeah, I'm doing this more for the Cowboys. So the Cowboys don't want a 2,000-yard rusher in their backfield? What kind of impact do you think Derrick Henry would have had in Dallas to help the Cowboys out? And the Cowboys stuck with Ricky Ricardo instead of going with Derrick Henry. I mean, Henry wanted to play in Dallas. He's got 2 homes in Dallas. 704 yards rushing right now and 8 touchdowns. He has. My God almighty. He's on pace for $2,000. Him and Lamar running the ball at you. Hey, by the way, what date is that Baltimore-Philadelphia game? Is that week 12? We're going to find out a little bit about your run defense. We're going to find out a little bit about your run defense. When you got to say Derrick Henry or Lamar Jackson running down your throat. Hey, Anthony, week 12, baby. You better put your big boy pants on because you're going to be going to work. You're going to be going to work. Hey, how about Lamar, man? How many great quarterbacks is this guy going to knock down every week? This guy's playing the best ball of his career right now. Fuck them Raven Sills, they ain't ready for the Birds, I believe. Yeah, that stout defense of yours who did shit against the Browns. But, hey, we stopped the Browns. No, you didn't. The Browns lived up to their numbers. They stink. That's going to be a little – hey, you better put your mouthpiece – that's a mouthpiece game, juniors. Oh, I can't wait to see – hey, Nakobe Dean tackling Derrick Henry. Nope. We're going to find out about Jalen versus Lamar. All right. Sills, it's confirmed Malata is going to be out a couple weeks. Yeah, he gonna miss a month. He gonna miss a month. Sills, it's amazing what a quarterback who plays in a system that fits their skills can do. Yeah, look at Lamar, how great he's playing. And look at how up and down Jalen is because he's being asked to do stupid shit. He's not a drop back guy. Hey, get this too, Bob. Here's the difference between Baltimore and Philly. And it's plain and simple to see. If Lamar Jackson has a catastrophic knee injury and he doesn't play, the Ravens are completely aware of that and will accept that. The Eagles won't. They run his ass out there, Lamar, and he plays the same style of play. I wish he would stop throwing the ball against Kansas City because every single time they play Kansas City, there's 37 to 40 passes. I don't get that. Okay? Stop throwing the ball. But in Baltimore, they coach that guy in Baltimore right. They don't coach Jalen Hurts right. They just don't. You know why I think that is? There's too many voices. There's too many voices. Yeah, you do this, you do that. You do this, you do that. Dude, you know what Baltimore has that's better than Philly? What do you guys think Baltimore does better than Philly? By the way, since 2000, or I'd probably have to say 99, they've been more successful than you. What does Baltimore have that you don't have? What do they have? Mr. International goes a running game. Draft. Guys are going to drafting and coaching cells. Spread everything out. One voice. Guys are smart. Good. Organization. Anthony is on his A game here the last couple weeks. Killing it. Here. Let's do it. The owner, Steve Biscotti. The GM, Ozzie Newsome. Now DeCosta. The head coach, John Harbaugh. He's going to Hall of Fame. And the quarterback. They got the dynamic down. They have it down. They're suspect on the D coordinator. I'll give you that. Because that's the one thing Kansas City has that completes the circle. Spagnuolo, Reed, the quarterback, Veach, and the owner. It's the only place that has it all. There's no coincidence they're the best franchise in football now. Nobody has that dynamic. Get this. Cincinnati. Owner's not good. Quarterback's great. General manager goes under the direction of the owner. So he's limited on what he can spend. Duke Tobin's a good talent evaluator. They bring a lot of talent in. But once that talent starts to develop, they have to get rid of it because they can't pay for it. So that's a money issue in Cincinnati. Look at the Jets. Owner sucks. The GM is decent at talent evaluation. The head coach has never been good. Hey, you want to hear something about the Jets? The Jets fire Robert Saleh. Do you guys know? Yale, I think I've brought this up to you. Do you guys know there's only one coach with any kind of tenure with the Jets that has a winning record? Do you know who that is? In the 65 years that the New York Jets have been around, there's only one coach with a winning record. Do you know who that is? One guy has a winning record as the New York Jets head coach. Do you know who it is? It's not Rex Ryan. Tuna. That's right, Parcells. Parcells is the only coach with a winning record with one or more years as a head coach. Herm doesn't have one. No. Not even Weeb Eubank, who won Super Bowl III. No. There's one coach in Jet history. Al Groh had 1 year, and he coached 1 year, but I said with tenure. Okay? One coach. Bill Parcells. So they've never got the coach right. They've never got the coach right. They never get the quarterback right in New York. Get this. As much as we get on Jeffrey Lurie, since he's owned the team, and actually since 2000, every head coach he's hired has never had a losing record. He's never had a head coach with a losing record, including Chip. Tells you a little bit something about why they think they do the right thing when it comes to hiring the head coaches. Is because they've never had a guy with a losing record. Hey, you can say whatever you want about that. That's impressive when you look at the Jets with 65 years. They've only had one guy. Lurie wants a dynasty with the Eagles. I don't believe that. He wants control with the Eagles because the way he has set it up, Armand, he'll never have a dynasty. The Eagles aren't a dynasty. Dude, as a matter of fact, there's only been one dynasty in the city of Philadelphia. That were the Flyers. Was the Flyers. And there were two in a row. You've never had a dynasty in Philly, including the baseball team, who was great during the 80s. But you had the Big Red Machine. You had the Dodger teams. They were good. Okay? I mean, they were good, but they were never great enough. He hires well, but in the end, situations arise, and it comes to decisions between the coach and Howie wins every time. Anthony, it's correct. You're just on fire, and thank you for the super chats. Anthony, any organization that sides with the general manager over the head coach is a losing franchise. That's why the Chargers have changed that dynamic. Do you think there's any coincidence that the Chargers are now 4-2? And it's not that Herbert's playing great ball, but what's the number one thing that Jim Harbaugh likes to do? He's going to run the ball. He got rid of those receivers that he thought was overpaid, and he's 4-2. And the Chargers are a contender for a playoff spot. I don't know how far they'll go, but Jim Harbaugh is head dude in charge of that place. They got rid of Tom Telesco and the dynamic of running the franchise through the GM because it's never developed anything for a championship. You've got to have one decision maker. Look at Andy Reid. Hey, Brett Veach works for Andy. Andy doesn't work for the GM. In Philly, Nick works for the GM. You can't have that. The GM is a non-football man, traditionally, unless he's somebody like John Lynch or Brett, who comes from personnel. Remember, I showed you the tea leaves when we were explaining this to Xander. This guy was an assistant coach for Andy Reid in Philly at one time. He knows the kind of player, personnel, and profile he's looking for. Okay? He knows the type of guy he wants. That's why you always get a personnel guy to be your GM. I can always get a bookworm to do my book and also do my contracts. Howie Roseman does the worst job on the planet. You know what that is? Contracts. Because it doesn't result in championships. Chad Pennington, best quarterback of all time. Yeah, okay. Tells you a lot about the Jets. Howie Roseman's number one asset is doing contracts, not building championship teams. Okay? Well, I guess. So you pay guys, but you don't pay everybody, and you don't build a team. Okay. And that's why you're in the shit you're in. Because you think you can build a football team with a bookworm. You can't. You know I agree with Angelo. The next couple of weeks is going to be interesting to see how the owner and the general manager look at Nick Sirianni moving forward. Nick's seat is so hot right now. Chip goes, one Super Bowl over 15 years. No, one Super Bowl over 32 years. The Super Bowl win, you mean, over 32 years. He's owned a team for 32 years. Has Jeffrey Lurie. He's got one Super Bowl over 32 years. I'll be in the jam, okay. And that's what Howie should stick to. Construction of contracts. That's it. Sue, that's right. Okay. And also not hiring assistant coaches. Leave that up to the head coach. Think about this, Sue. If you hire a head coach, shouldn't he be entitled to have say in what kind of players he wants and kind of coaches he wants? Why should I take a job where when I come into a place, I'm not coming into a place with my vision. I'm coming into a place with their vision. I have to fit their vision to get the job. I mean, that's the fundamental flaw with Philly, is that they don't think their structure, as Xander says, is wrong. This is why you have the up and down play with your football team. That's why it looks the same. Yesterday, when I was watching, Sue, the Browns game, I said this looked like 2023, and it looked like two shitty teams. It looked like two shitty teams playing. How did anybody think that they played well? Hurts was good. AJ was AJ. That wasn't winning football. I mean, it just was like, right, Sue, you struggled against the Browns. You struggled against the Browns. And once again, I'm pointing this out to you here. The Browns played up to their A game. The Browns had an A game. Hey, you want to hear this? The Browns. What's funny is you're looking at this wrong. I say the Browns played a B game. And I think the Eagles played a C- game. I actually think the Browns played better. Why? Well, they didn't disappoint. They played to who they were. Hey, they're a shitty roster. But they delivered on all of their. They weren't going to throw the ball a lot. They weren't going to score a ton of points. They weren't going to run the ball. They ran it better. They had more rushing yards per carry than you. Quarterback was mediocre. I mean, if you thought the Browns were going to be somebody else than this, they weren't. They played up to their ability. The Eagles were the team that didn't play up to their ability. This is my fear. Doesn't matter what head coach we have. Doesn't matter what head coach we have. Lurie and Howie are in the way. Kimberly. That's the structure that Xander talks about and will always be in the way. Okay, hey, look at Forrest. Deshaun sucks. Deshaun Watson was 16 of 23 for 168. He's averaging 151 yards a game. That's who he is. Okay? That's a roster build thing. That's an Andrew Berry deal. You're making it sound, well, these players should be playing better. No, they don't have better players. I hear people go, well, isn't this player accountability? They were accountable. They played up to their ability. The Browns. The Eagles played down to theirs. I mean, if you were expecting the Browns to play, the Browns were good. Watch this. The Browns' identity, they play better on defense because they got better players. This is not an epiphany here. We're not breaking science or like there's some reach and we're on a limb. I mean, Jalen and Lane are saying it's the coach without saying it's the coach. So when he says the offense is constipated, all backed up, huh? With what? Interference? Sounds like that to me too. Sills, we did the worst versus the Browns as far as the NFC East division. Giants won 21-8, 21-15. That shit's a little bit misleading sometimes because each week is different. I don't really look into it like that, but you're not off base by a ton. Don't have better players, or the scheme is too passive. Can't be both, or the defense would literally do nothing. 2-1-5. Vic Fangio plays too high safety and corners off the ball and rarely brings pressure. Yesterday, he brought pressure because he knew how incompetent, inadequate the offense of the Browns was. So he stressed them because of all the injuries they had, which was the right thing to do. Okay? The Browns offered nothing of a fight, and yet they were in it. Why? Your team played down to them. Xander goes like this. Sills, they didn't give up any touchdowns. It's not the point. The unit as a whole, the team as a whole, the preparation to prepare for the Browns, you kept that game a one-score game and an opportunity for the Browns to win. And I told you it would be a 60-minute ball game. That's why I take the points in the Browns. You were never, what I didn't understand was you thought that really AJ and Devontae were going to move the needle with points scored. I never thought that. I actually thought that was funny. You thought like you were going to score 35 points. And Reyes thought they were going to score 52. I'm like, that ain't happening. They'll barely win that game. I said 24-21. Turned out to be 2016. I thought it was going to be a 3-4 point game. I didn't think it was going to be one of these. All of a sudden, they were just going to have a breakout. They're never going to have a breakout game. There's no breakout game coming. Okay? You just have to hope they play clean games. And when you get into a game like against Baltimore, that you're hoping, hey, let me ask you this. Do you truly believe that Baltimore's not going to run for 250 yards on you? You couldn't stop the Browns or the Bucks, who are some of the worst rushing attacks in the league. Do you really believe that you're stopping a team that's averaging 200 yards a carry, 200 yards a game, rushing? Okay. With who? Yeah, well, I can't wait to see this. Henry has never had over 50 yards against us. Derrick Henry never fucking played in a regular season ball game with Lamar Jackson. That Ryan Tannehill. Add Lamar Jackson into it too, dude. Changes the conversation a bit. I mean, he's never had more than 50 because he was the only guy on the team. Now he's got Lamar Jackson, a two-time most valuable player. Let's see how that works. Hey, he may only have 50, but I'll tell you what, the other kid ain't. The other kid ain't. You ain't holding both them guys. If you're not good enough on defense to do that. You're not good enough. The last 30 years of Cleveland Browns have been revolving door. Paper bags are coming out. I saw a couple in Cincinnati. Hey, you want to hear something, Lord's Grace? And I appreciate the super chat. Since they brought the team back to Cleveland, you want to hear this? They have had 42 different quarterbacks take snaps since they were brought back. 42. And you want to hear something? In the last 40 years, Green Bay has had 3 guys take 98% of the snaps in Green Bay. You might take a look at why one franchise is more of a consistent winner than the other guy. How's that for you? I used to hate your takes, but now I get you. Yesterday you said to John that playing QB1 like that is not sustainable, but also said don't change what makes him great. You can't contradict yourself, Sills. No, I said this. It's not sustainable. He doesn't have a high ceiling. So, Jason, thank you for the super chat, but here's what I mean. Lamar Jackson is probably going to get a catastrophic injury. He's not going to play 10, 15 years. Jalen Hurts, when you average that you're going to average right now carrying the ball 190 carries this year, he's not going to have a high ceiling. It's inevitable you're going to get hit. That's what that game is. So at the end of the day, play as long as you can. Don't change him. That's what I mean. And I've been consistent on that. When you have Jalen Hurts play the way he did yesterday or 2022, that is a low ceiling for him to be able to play. Okay? He's not going to play 10, 15 years. That's not what it is. And that's not a contradiction. I've been 100% on that. You're changing a kid because you're afraid he's going to get hurt. You got to roll with him like Baltimore is. Baltimore's coaching that style. Bob, right? Baltimore's coaching Lamar to his skill set. Whatever that is, 10 years, 9 years, 8 years, whatever. They're going to go as long as it's able to continue to go. And whatever that is, like Lamar's not a 20-year guy. That's not a 20-year guy. Okay? That style of play is not sustainable. Concussions, injuries, all of that play into the conversation here. Guys, 350 likes. Guys, do me a favor. Please, let's see if we can get to 400. Okay? Akbar says, Sills, the difference between Jalen and Jackson can manipulate the pocket, but he's also accurate. He's become more accurate. Jalen is more accurate, but can't work the pocket. No, he doesn't have a very good pocket presence. See here's Forrest, 22. Shane had a feel for. Yeah, but Forrest, Jalen Hurts, the only time he ran a non-traditional pass offense, NFL offense, was in 22. Because it was decision-making and putting in the hands of the quarterback. And his decision-making in 22 was sensational because it was read option. Okay? They don't run that anymore. They ran a little bit of it in that game against Cleveland with the 14 carries and design runs. You saw a little bit of it come back. Remember, I told you, 25 passes, 14 carries. That's who Hurts is. He doesn't turn the ball over, 250, 40 yards rushing. You're going to win a ton of games doing that. You're going to win a ton of games. That's all he needs. Jalen Hurts is not this. He's not 390 yards passing and 4 touchdowns guy. That's not what it is. He'll never be that guy on a consistent basis. Neither will Lamar. But Baltimore knows that. Philly doesn't. Philly doesn't. They don't know that. Okay? Lamar pocket presence is his 4.2, 4.3 speed. Kind of difficult to get to. Yeah, but he's been throwing for 300 yards the last 3 weeks against some pretty good football teams. I think he went for 3+ this past weekend and 4 touchdowns. He's playing the best ball of his career. And that's saying a lot since he's got 2 MVP awards already. He's the leading candidate right now for the most valuable player award. He's playing the best ball. He is the best player in the league right now. Now, okay, he's playing right now. If you're still going to start your football team, you're going to start it with the guy in Kansas City. But Lamar's playing the best ball right now of anybody in the league. And that's another great point. That Lamar has a better coach and a better coaching staff. Think about that. They've got Todd Monken, and they also have John Harbaugh coaching him. Dude, you're going to win games. You're going to win games. 2 best teams in the league right now are Detroit and Baltimore. But that Aiden Hutchinson loss is going to be pretty felt and pretty big, no question. That's because they got a run game, and it's a major factor. I know. NS Wells, think of this. The Eagles can have that, but they don't want that. This is more about perception with that organization. Cosmo, I know he is. I saw him how he played. Brian Burns is great. That's going to be a factor. Thibodeau, they say, is on IR. The nose is good. The New York will be kind of a test. We'll see. Okay? I don't know what. New York is going to be well coached by Brian Dable. It's in the Meadowlands. Barkley's going back home. We'll see. We'll see. It's not defending the head coach. It's defending Philly fan base. And the fact that we can take a little clap back from Sirianni. Dude, it's not, Mike, that's not what my comment is about him. My comment is conduct yourself like a fucking leader. That stuff is box of rocks shit. Starting a chant, fire Nick. Come on, dude. I've got the best record of any head coach in Eagle history. I've been to the playoffs every year. I've got an NFC championship next to my name. Our football team has won a ton of games. Why am I addressing that? Aren't you secure in yourself? His record speaks for itself. Why does he have to act like he's 5 years old? Sills, look at this. Sills would be unhinged as a head coach. That's why I'm not a head coach candidate. Thank you, Twiz. Thanks for the obvious. Am I head coaching candidate? No. Because I'm going to be a guy who's going to tell you to your face everything. But again, I'm not going to let some guy like Twiz in the stands fucking get under my skin. Lee on the back of a pig. I could care less. That shit doesn't faze me. I don't care anymore. Do you know how many people talk shit on me every day? I don't care. But that comes with experience. I could give a shit what you think of me. Not talking to you, Twiz. Okay? I don't give a shit about that. Dude, if I got a resume like Nick Sirianni, you really think I'm dealing with some guy who's hammered in row 4 and screaming at him because he said fire Sirianni? Why in the world would you address that? I'm so much bigger than that. I mean, hey, Sileo, you suck. I make $8 million a year. I get the winningest record in the history of the franchise. Why do I give a shit what Dick Track says? I don't. I could care less. Somebody says something, and I got that resume. Hey, dude, it's one thing if I'm sitting there and I'm 17-30 and I'm about ready to get blown out, that's one thing. I'm going to go out with my fist up. But if I got a record like Nick, I'm looking at you going like this, Yale. Hey, fuck you. He gives a shit about that guy. As far as I'm concerned, you could jump off the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. I could give a shit what you do. I'm going to address that. That's the mentality you have. I don't give a shit what you do. Fire, son. And I'll be like, dude, if you lit yourself on fire, I could care less. When you get popcorn or thrown at you, I bet you would jump in the stands. Making $8 million a year, you'd have to try harder, son. And that better be Elon Musk throwing popcorn at me for me to cash my check in. I don't cash my check in like that. Wrong. There's a balance here with me in life, Twiz. You think I'm going to sacrifice money I'm making if I'm making $8 million because there's some dude throwing 2-cent popcorn on me? You must be stupid. I mean, you must be stupid. You must be Dick Train, because Dick Train would act like that because he has no common sense. Look at his takes. They're as bad as his bullshit that he pumps out here. Fair enough. Thanks a lot, Twiz. I appreciate it. You know I love you, bro. Love all you guys, even stupid Dick Train. Nick Bobby Knight Sirianni. This guy doesn't even believe his own bullshit. Seals Detroit destroyed Dallas. Oh, yeah, we're getting Mark on. Don't worry, he'll be good and drunk by Wednesday. Here we go. This ought to be good. That's what you have done in the radio business. You said it yourself. Yeah, when I was younger, I allowed shit to get the best of me. Yes. But as you have more experience, you learn to go like this. Box of rocks. Box of rocks. And that's why Nick is not capable of being a head coach. He's not qualified right now to handle a gig like that. Or this guy. What would he possibly know? Yeah, that Aiden Hutchinson injury. Pretty bad. Absolutely. Based on how Elon jumps, I don't think he has the arm strength. How you doing? I'm learning box of rocks at a young age. Jacob haters, stand up. F you. Xander. Dude, box of rocks. Box of rocks. My wife used to get on my shit all the time. Why do you care what some dude from Sea Caucus says about you? Well, you know, he said, or it's like watching the news and you see a story on the news and you get upset about it. Why? You can't do anything about it. You're sitting in your home and you kind of like, it's like putting knives in your eye. What do you want me to do about it? You're trying to test my empathy? Okay. Look at this guy. Nick Sirianni's a better head coach than Kyle Shanahan. Nobody in here believes that, but this guy, Dick Train. Nobody. Nobody believes that. Nick Sirianni is the worst coach with a winning record in football right now. When Nick gets fired, you do know this crap isn't going to change because Nick was never in charge. Damn. Big D, why are you doing this to me? Doesn't matter who they hire unless Howie gets put back in the broom closet. Damn, Big D. Shit, dude. Look at Big D. Big D goes, dude, You know, Sills, all this anger that you have towards Sirianni, you and Angelo. Next guy up is going to be the same guy, and he's going to look the same. You saw Brian Johnson. Hey, watch this. You saw Brian Johnson. Now you see Kellen Moore. They're the same dude, right, Big D? They're the same dude. Damn, dude. Big D coming in strong with a reality check. Hey, Sills, you're getting upset about what? The next guy? He's going to be the same guy. Hey, Big D. Hey. My Cardinals are coming for the Canes this week. Time to pull off the upset. Just don't jump on the logo. Hey, I like Louisville. Hey, dude, Lord's Grace, Louisville Cardinals are yours. I'll tell you one quick story here about the Louisville Cardinals and Howard Schnellenberger. Okay? So we're stretching, and Jimmy Johnson got us on the field there at the Orange Bowl. And Howard's bringing his Louisville Cardinals on. You know, I think Jay Gruden was the quarterback of that team. Lord's Grace, I think Jay Gruden was the quarterback of that team. So check it out. Howard used to do this. He used to whistle and we'd all go in. This was like one of his first years there. Howard did that. The entire Miami Hurricane football team jumped up. We started taking it in. All the coaches were like, hey, that wasn't it. Howard started laughing. Howard did it. We all got up. We all started running. It's obvious Nick is cracking under pressure. Oh, I think he's having a nuclear meltdown. I totally do. Micromanaging causing a snowball effect. I think he's bipolar too. Yeah. Howard built that program. I'm going to just say this to you, dude. That Louisville Cardinal program, well, I'll tell you about hard work. We played a Florida State game. We played a Florida State game one year, and they beat us pretty good. It was a red shirt for me. They beat us pretty good. I remember walking off the field. Howard goes like this to everyone. Where are you guys going? This is off the field, the Orange Bowl. And he goes like this. Where are you guys going? Game's over, coach. No, it ain't. You guys never put up an effort. We went out there and practiced for 3 more hours. After a game. It was like Herb Brooks. Xander, it was like Herb Brooks shit. Like after they got killed, it was exactly like Herb Brooks. Exactly like that. 3.5-hour football game against a rival. Howard goes, where are you going? Well, coach, the game's over. No, it ain't. You never played. Get out there. 3.5-hour practice. They kept the lights on. Yeah, a different era, man. That was a different way of doing things, my friends. Back in them days. Hey, by the way, I do want to hit on tonight's game. Josh Allen. What a quarterback tonight. Josh Allen. Week 6 of the National Football League. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing, the second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs, and then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wild brigade.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Please hit the like button. Nick Sirianni today, when he was taking questions, it looked like he was the guy behind the glass. Picks up the telephone like this here. How you doing, Mom? Yeah. Only got a couple minutes. Yeah. Hey, make sure you leave the cheese and the bread. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah, they don't have a lot in the commissary. Uh-huh. Yeah. No, my jail cell's doing well. Thanks for coming by, Mom. I haven't seen you in about 6 months. Yeah. Yeah, huh? I think my time's up, Mom. Hey, yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah, okay. Hey, do me a favor. Don't forget. Leave the cheese and leave the bread. I need it. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, I'll see you in 6 months. He escorts him back to his cell. Oh man, that's shit. Hey, it came with the house. What do you want from me, man? Doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't know. Oh man. Hold on for a minute. Is this Miss Marty? Yeah. All right. Yeah, okay. Yes, ma'am. I promise. Yes. Grab my ankles. Soap on a rope. Understood. Thank you. Oh my God almighty. Oh man. Good night almighty. Let's see what we had. Buffalo and the Jets tonight. Real quick. How about Chicago 4-2? Caleb Williams. Going to be painting my fingernails pink. It's going to be a new fad in Chicago. I said fad. Hey, say it with me. A new fad in Chicago will be painting your fingernails pink. Fad. Beat the Jags. Doug ain't making it. 35-16. Green Bay 4-2 over Arizona, 34-13. Jordan Love was sensational. How about Houston 5-1? Dude, Minnesota beat that 5-1 team, really? They beat that horrible New England team 41-21. The Bucks put a 50 burger on New Orleans in New Orleans. 42-24, 51-27. They're now 4-2, the Bucks. How about this? The Bucks destroy the Eagles, and then they turn around and they destroy the Saints. I don't. Baltimore, and by the way, Tampa Bay is better than we thought. Baltimore against a great Jaden Daniels performance. 30-23. Baltimore is now 4-2 after going 0-2. I think they're the best team in football. Chargers, 3-2 over the Denver Broncos, 23-16. Pittsburgh's now 4-2. Beat the Raiders 32-13. Atlanta over Carolina 38-20. Dude, what are you doing down there with Bryce Young? Why don't you just trade him? Let him go somewhere else and try to at least, I mean, to be a quarterback with the Jets or be a quarterback with Carolina, why? Detroit destroys the Cowboys 47-9. 9? Joe Burrow, nice game. Another great game, actually. 17-7, kind of, over the Giants. Next opponent for the Eagles. 2-4. Both are 2-4. And tonight, Buffalo versus the Jets. Josh Allen versus Aaron Rodgers tonight. You got RoboCop versus the Vice President of the United States. VP Rodgers. Who you got tonight? Well, man, I'm going with the second best or third best quarterback in the NFL right now. And that's going to be Josh Allen. I got that tonight. 24-20. Buffalo wins tonight. And Aaron Rodgers is back to smoking weed. And pretty soon he'll be doing conventions. You could see Aaron Rodgers at a pot convention, right? Some up in Humboldt County. Yeah, this is Aaron. You know, you got to try that sticky green. Tell you what, man, it helps me. Try the sticky green. Yeah, nobody roots for the Jets or the Mets, dude. Jets and Mets, you're constantly heartbroken. All right. Hey, I appreciate everybody. Thank you guys so much for your support today. Absolutely sensational stuff. We'll find out what the melodrama is tomorrow with the greatness of Nick Sirianni and his Wounded Warriors and seeing how they get out of this thing here as they prepare for the New York Giants this weekend. We appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Xander and Joe, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we shall see you on the flip side.